Oh boy. Sorry guys. Hold on. How's it going, everybody? Oh, little loud. I am sorry for being so late. I had some stuff I had to look up real quick and some stuff I had to do. But I am here now, and that's all that matters. So let me get the rest of this finished. Get some music going in here. Let's see. How about some badass boss themes? You guys like badass boss themes, don't you? Where's the volume 3? All right. I am so sorry for being late, guys. I apologize. Things are a little crazy right now. That is loud. Whew! That was loud even for me. No, I was out doing some yard work and overheated a little bit, so I had a fan on, and that was what you guys were hearing. So, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the last bastion of sanity for this portion of the internet, the Last Vox. My name is Matt, and we are here to see some internet craziness. I haven't pulled up the articles, but I have them, so let me do that real quick while I'm talking to you guys. Believe me, you're going to like them. I have some fun ones, and we're going to start. I don't really have anything to rant about right now, but I do have some stuff to talk about. I think I talked about that one already, so we're going to start with that. Listen, things have kind of been going nuts. I apologize for not being here on Sunday, but I was doing something important out of state, and that was more important than doing anything on the Last Vox. So I apologize. You guys are important to me, but Ishtar is more important to me. So we'll just go with that. I hope you guys have been well. I know I have. My Twitter has kind of blown up a little bit, which I'm happy to talk about if you guys want, or not. It's up to you. I really don't care. When I say I have a ton of stuff, I have a ton. So we're gonna have some multiple choice stuff for you guys to choose from. And I think that last one. Yes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 goddamn things to talk about. And we are going to talk about them. Alright, Ishtar says I can tell them, so I will. Yes, I did hear about Elon Musk versus California. I haven't looked into it, so I can't really talk on it. But I know that Elon Musk is a giant troll. So, I don't know what exactly is going on, but I know it's going to be interesting. So over the weekend, over the last week, from Thursday till about Sunday, we went to Arizona. And the reason why is because Ishtar's grandfather was suffering from dementia and basically going downhill really, really fast. And so we went out there to be with him for the last few days. And we brought a bunch of clothes. It was kind of a last-minute thing. All got planned, like, on that Monday. And basically, on Saturday, Ishtar's grandfather passed away at the ripe, old, long-time age of 94. I never actually got to meet him while he was not sick. But from all the things that I heard, because they did a nice a viewing in his home, like they cleaned it up to make a viewing for his home and things like that, and it was really nice. And then there was a service outside in his backyard, and his backyard is absolutely beautiful. It's very open. It's you picture an Arizona backyard, and that's exactly what it was. So Friday, that was the funeral. Ishtar was kind of a emotional wreck for the on that day and over the trip to Arizona. So that's why there was no MSNBC. Also, she was in mourning, and I was doing what I could to help her. So before we get too much further. Since I'm already late, I will probably go longer than I should because of how late I was and because of the late start. So let's get into it. First, we have our gold place in the comments. In the chat is Za, who claims first. Mitzi claims the silver, saying, God damn it, because she can very rarely get first anymore. Trey Lee comes in with a whoops, I dropped my monster condom for my magnum dong for our bronze, and Ben C is our honorable mention. Ishtar is here, how's it going? And then let's see who else is here. Steve is here, how's it going, my man? Peter Locke, what's up? Ray, my buddy, what's going on? I said hello to Mitzi. Infallible Foul, how's it going? Malik, nice to see you. And that's it for everybody so far. Everybody hopefully is going to start coming in soon, and we can really get this stuff kicking off. So I'm not going to give you guys a choice for the first story, but I am going to give you a choice for every story after that. Now, I can't say that any of these are Florida men stories, so I'm sorry for that, but there is... Well, when I say I've brought the cream of the crop, some of these articles are fucking ridiculous. Okay? Absolutely ridiculous. So, real quick, I'll be right back. I gotta get something to drink, listen to the music. Today is just kind of a wonky day for this show, but I'm gonna power through this. How's it going, Siri? And Zeo Gold, you didn't miss anything. I literally just started a few minutes ago. So let me go get something to drink because my throat tends to get dry while I'm doing this show. I will be right back. Alright, so we are here. Are you guys ready for this first article? I'm just going to jump into it because that is what needs to happen. But I am going to bring to you some of the worst articles I could find. Now, are they cringe? Probably. Are they going to make you cringe? Oh, most definitely. And I'm going to start off with one that you guys are either going to love or you're going to hate. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm going to think it's funny for the reaction that you guys are going to give me, which is why I'm actually doing this show. Now, I gave a preview of this during the patron-only hangout. So you have been warned if you have listened to it. Animal urges. Women and bestiality. That's right, this is a legit article in the life section of Vice. So I don't know how bad it's going to be. But let me tell you. The tagline is beautiful. Why would anyone want to have sex with anything other than a human being? I scoured the internet for female bestiality performers and found lessons on desire and deviance instead. So we are in for one hell of a ride. Trey Lee is already saying stop. There is no stopping this train. We're just gonna dive right into this one. This originally appeared on Vice US. Zoss says, I've heard about something like this over a decade ago. This is why I don't trust dogs. Oof. Alright. Ray, already? When women said they were into rough sex, the Vice writer took it the wrong way. Bow wow. Alright, here we go. It's rumored that Linda Lovelace couldn't even say the word dog after she was forced to fuck one. When Lovelace moved to New York with her infamous pimp husband, Chuck Traynor, she did 8mm films to earn the couple's extra money. Perhaps her most rare and sought after by porn collectors is her bestiality 8mm. How's it going, God Pikachu? Yes, zoophilia and bestiality is illegal. It was the lowest part of her life, said her biographer Mike McGrady in the film The Real Linda Lovelace. In all our dealings, she could never say the word dog because of all that had been done to her in that 8mm film. How's it going, Cinder Shadow? She said she would say D-O-G. There's a D-O-G over there. Lovelace is the most famous female porn star to have ever participated in bestiality on camera. There have been other semi-famous women to perform sex acts on animals on film, like Chessie Moore and Kelly Graff, as well as a transsexual star Monica Matos, but none of these porn actresses were as mainstream as Lovelace. Except in communities of zoophiles, bestiality is as taboo as pedophilia. We all know the main argument of why interspecial mating between animals and humans is wrong. Common language. That's right, for all those idiots on Twitter that are basically saying zoophilia is okay, animals cannot talk, thus cannot consent, or accuse an individual of forcing them to have sex with him or her against their will. Wrote Ramses in his 1969 study, which is cited by sexual therapist and author Dr. Hanny Maletsky in her book Understanding Bestiality and Zoophilia. Oh God, Ben is in the chat. Ben, I don't want to read that book. I'm letting you know that now. I understand you like making me read horrible, horrible things. I don't want that to be one of them. Furthermore, animals carry different diseases, genes, hormones. It's just too obscure. Most people think it's biologically gross and morally wrong. How long is this article? Real quick. Oof, this one's a big one. We may be jumping around. This is where I stood when I started this research. Why would anyone want to have sex with anything other than a human being? But as I logged into every bestiality forum that would accept me, read all the comment threads, uncovered all the theories from therapists, doctors, and sexologists, and talked to some female zoophiles themselves, my thoughts changed. I'm not for it, but their arguments started to seem, if not valid, at least understandable. Did my Knights on Beast forum create a type of Stockholm Syndrome? I mean, what's so wrong about desiring a reindeer? I found myself thinking, horrified, how is having sex with a pig any crueler than murdering it for bacon? What's worse, rape or murder? My logical self vacated for the sake of an argument. Your logical self is basically telling you you have gone down a road you don't want to go down, and is trying to tell you, stop. You hear all the warning bells, all of the red in your head? That is telling you, back away. Now, there's a lot of actual scientific theories about why people want to have sex with actual animals. Now, I'm not talking about furries, and I'm not talking about cat girls or anthropomorphized animals. I'm talking about actual animals. And a lot of it does have to do with the taboo of it. Doing something so deviant, so dark, and so dirty that it's basically, well, it's the thrill of it itself is what causes the kink, regardless of pain or anything like that. I'm usually one of the type of people to say, hey, whatever, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, what you do in your bedroom is your own business. This is a little different. Now, it is very taboo. It is very degenerate. And it's very, well, deviant. I don't know. Like, me personally, not for it. I don't think it's something that should be happening. But there are people out there who think it's okay. This is just... Yeah, I saw Lilith Lovett arguing with that person. Was like, if you're okay with killing it, you should be okay with fucking it. That doesn't really necessarily work because of the fact that you could say the same thing. If you're okay with killing humans, you should be able to fuck them whenever you want. It's okay with that. If you're okay with murder, you must be okay with rape. That's a horrible, horrible conversation, and it's a horrible argument to have, along with a horrible stance to have. Now, you could ask therapists, and they could each give you a different reason. Most of the time, a fetish like this is developed early on in childhood from some act that triggered something in the brain. Now, it could be something bad. See, the funny thing about humans is bad stuff, when they're young, turns into something that they like when they're older. We're talking about, like, that's why it's very common. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but it's very common for a child who was abused to grow up and be an abuser. That's what they learn, that's what they learn to like, and that's what their brain tells them that they're okay with. So something in your childhood ends up triggering something of arousal in you. And later on in life, when puberty hits you like a Mack truck, that becomes the forefront of what you want. So maybe you came up across two dogs having sex and it really fascinated you, or whatever it is. That could be something that is why you're interested in dogs. It could be any number of things. But each psychologist or psychiatrist has something different to say, which is really interesting if you think about it. So this portion is titled, "Why Would Anyone Want to Have Sex with Anything Other Than a Human Being?" I think I kind of went over it, but let's see what they have to say. Despite the perception of the practice of ethically corrupt bestiality has always been a part of human history, albeit quietly. According to Dr. Maletsky, during the spring fertility of Babylon, men and women would use dogs in secret for multiple-day orgies, exhausting the abused animal until it died. Then the dead dog's penis was cut off, hardened, and dried, and used for sexual escapades. Where do they find this shit? I am usually up on my history, and even my ancient history, because I love Greek and Roman mythology and history and things like that. It's very fascinating what they did. None of this stuff has ever come up. So I want to know where this shit comes from. Is it from like a book or a scroll that they found in like the Dead Sea Library or something? Like, this was in the weird section. I don't think this was something that they actually practiced. Okay? I think this was something that was written as a fantasy, and they're like, oh, it was found on a scroll, it must be real. The Egyptian Old Kingdom pharaoh Cheops, who is famous for building one of the pyramids, often boasted about the passionate sex he had with his mares. One of the most famous orgies of ancient Rome featured the goddess Bona Dea and a bunch of dogs. It's even documented that one of Hitler's doctors at Auschwitz was obsessed with bestiality experiments and tried to create a dog-woman hybrid from Jewish and Polish females to use for manual labor. We know now that although a dog's sperm will swim to a human female's egg, it cannot inseminate it. According to Maletsky, it's also aggressively rumored that Hitler's wife Eva Braun had sex with dogs for pleasure, which explains Hitler's fascination with his German shepherds. I don't know where these people get this stuff. I really don't. But wow. I think all this stuff about Hitler is just, hey, Hitler was a bad guy, let's just make him worse. In modern, post-war society, Denmark was the first country in Europe to legalize bestiality in 1969. Hey, the summer of love. I guess if you're getting love from everyone on the block, it might as well be your four-legged companions as well. Soon after emerged the queen of bestiality pornography, Bodil Jonsson, who grew up in rural Denmark with her religious, abusive mother who did not allow her to communicate or converse with other children. See, that's what I'm talking about. She had an abusive childhood. Of course she's going to become a deviant. This is part of that nature versus nurture. She grew up in an abusive environment. She's going to have things wrong with her. Many would argue that this contributed to Johansson's sexual interest in animals. Johansson was cut off from humans and found love in her family dog. In a 1974 study on sexuality done for Playboy Foundation, Morgan Hunt said during early childhood, the human being is thoroughly imprinted and taught to choose other human beings as love objects and, eventually, as sex objects. So, Hunt argues, most human-animal sexual encounters are isolated or rare experiences of a primarily experimental nature, and are largely confined to the early stages of life. Johansson saw her beloved dog as her only friend and her first sexual experience with the animal as a teenager. She left home at 15, eventually being taken in by a local farmer who let her help out with the insemination of his pigs. Well, okay. Elon Musk offering us genetically engineered cat girls, on the other hand, yeah, I can understand that because they're going to be anthropomorphized females. They're going to be cat girls. That's something completely different. I'm not saying that it's going to be bad. I'm just going to say that once that happens, this world is going to get very, very interesting. Oh, sorry, Damn Alien. How's it going? Didn't see you. Damn Alien says, perhaps more importantly, where do you find this shit? Believe it or not, Damn Alien, Twitter. This article in particular, though, I found because Wren sent me an article that I basically could not help but let my morbid curiosity take over, and this was one of the side articles. Actually, I think the article is here. No, but one of them is there that I was looking at. At this time, Denmark was becoming a hub for outrageous pornography, and its spearhead was director Ole Elge. Johansson acquired her own farm, which she dubbed Insemination Central, populated it with every type of animal you can imagine, and eventually called up E.G. to do some work with him, according to the 2006 British documentary, The Dark Side of Porn, The Real Story of Animal Farm. Wow. That's a documentary you do not want to watch in mixed company. That's a documentary that you don't want to be caught watching alone. Yikes. Johansson herself suggested that E.G. film her fucking one of her animals. During 1969 to 1972, she made over 40 bestiality movies, with E.G. and another documenter eventually teaming up to film Johansson's life on the farm in a film, The Summer Day, called Animal Lover in the U.S. The film was set to Beethoven and showed Johansson living amongst her rabbits, cats, dogs, pigs, and horses as though she were an animal herself. It won the grand prize in Amsterdam's Wet Dream Film Festival in 1970, turning Johansson into an unlikely underground celebrity. Animal Farm. You got the correct Animal Farm, God Pikachu. That's the one that they're allowed to show in schools. This one, I don't think this one is allowed in schools. However, after years of allowing sex tourists to visit her farm and do as they pleased, the world lost interest in the Queen of Bestiality. Johansson eventually faded from prominence, lost her farm due to neglect, and even spent time in jail. After police killed her beloved dog Spot, she got into prostitution and turned to cherry wine and sedative to cope with her depression. In my situation, it's very hard to turn down the most disgusting propositions, Johansson said in an interview before her death, referring not to sex with animals but paid sex with men. For me, staying alive in the hooking business is hell. She wore a locket sporting a picture of Spot around her neck until the day she died. The film doesn't exist. It was one of those urban legends. People who say they have seen it have only seen clips from her zoo sex stuff. I've never heard of it, so But apparently, the summer day, which I guess is called Animal Lover in the U.S., was seen by a bunch of people in the Wet Dream Film Festival in 1970. I'm just going off of what's written. So, alright, so we're going to get to some of... I don't know how much farther I want to go down this horrible rabbit hole. But we'll start here. The women that were in my bestiality study actually cherished the relationship to their animal partner. Other women spoke of the secret oral sex their family dogs gave them when their husbands went to work. My hubby does not know and probably never will. Moocha Milkmaid explained. That's a great name. It's very exciting to know that we will have our fun. My heart is usually thumping a mile a minute before our time together. Other husbands knew, watched, videotaped, and loved being involved. There were public threads years long debating topics like jealousy their boyfriends felt over the animals, love, and basic bestiality techniques. The animal lovers are always dogs, a disproportionate number German shepherds. They spoke openly about how oral sex with a dog was incomparable to sex with a human. But despite the pages and pages of insider information, my mind was breaking in half. Why animals and how? Well, most of the time it's very simple. We've seen Alinity do it. Her dog is very well known, knows her body very well. She was doing her downward dog, quote-unquote, downward dog pose on stream to draw some viewers of her lonely fanboys. And he decided to, well, since Mama is bent over, it's time for action. And it was all caught on live stream. Anyway, that's usually how it happens. I mean, I could go into more detail. Most of the time when a mommy and daddy love each other very much, the mommy usually gets down on all fours, and the daddy puts his paws up on her back, and she has to guide him in, kind of thing. All right, I'll stop. I will stop. I know. I'm going to... Anybody tuning in at this present time is just, like B-Token, is just going, what the fuck is going on? We are talking about bestiality and the women who love it, B-Token, from this article from Vice. I've never fallen in love with an animal that didn't return the love, one woman wrote. Most people on the message boards and in Milisky's study said the same thing. People can reject you. Tell you to fuck off. An animal can't disappoint you in the way a human being can. Your relationship to a dog can't deteriorate over money problems, or jealousy, or sexual disinterest. It can't fall out of love because it never was in what we define as love in the first place. A sexual relationship with an animal is basic, simple, and never emotionally exhausting. On the flip side, you cannot keep a person hostage under your domestic rule the way you can an animal. Although no zoophile on Beast Forum confessed to seeing her relationship as having a power dynamic, there is no way it wouldn't be. People on Beast Forum are desensitized to the oddity of bestiality. Man, the censors and everything on YouTube are going to lose their shit over this episode of The Last Vox. Because you all have this forum and each other, wrote Little Naughty One. You're not wrong, B-Token. You're not wrong. It's weird, folks. Don't deceive yourself. Sex is seen as a subject for behind closed doors no matter the sexual preference, and zoophilia is one of the oldest of sexual taboos. You can cite stories from the past or say, look at all the members on this site. It's more common than you think, but you are only fooling yourself to make yourself feel better, since most of the population sees fucking an animal as not normal. It therefore is not normal. Like it or not, the majority rules. Sauce says, nah, YouTube is probably for shit like this. You're not wrong. I mean, they like to promote the people who are like, yeah, pedophilia is a sexuality and things like that. But people who are like, no, you take that shit away from here, usually get yeeted. Yes, B-Token, it is very wrong. Let's see, how much more of this do we have? We have a lot. All right, so like I said before, this isn't really going over what is the sexuality and why women are choosing animals over men. It did kind of for the one person. Listen, it's something that happens when you're young. As the psychiatrist said, because of developing relationships, that's what happens. If it comes down to you are lacking human interaction and all you have is your animals, you develop something for them. It's why some girls who don't have any friends and are obsessed with stuffed animals, you know, they hump their stuffed animals or their pillow or things like that. It's something that happens in childhood. They could have held off a whole bunch of this just said that. I don't want to find a video on necrophilia. I will pass on that one, thank you very much. So, we have, like I said, I got a bunch of stuff, a bunch of deviant stuff to talk to you guys about. I'm going to leave it up to you, everyone who is in the chat. You're going to get a choice. Now, I'm going to tell you the title of the article, and then you can choose. So I'm going to do 3. So pick up or choose one if you want. University academics say pedophilia is natural and normal for males to be aroused by children. 2, study links vegetarian and veganism diets to increased likelihood of depression. Or 3, the Me Too founder says Biden could show what it looks like to be both accountable and electable. So I'm going to wait. Yes, it's time to spay and neuter people. Ray asks, is it still necrophilia if they started out alive? Yes, it is still necrophilia because after they die, you're still having sex with the dead body. We have 2 for the second article. Malik and Zah have that morbid curiosity going. Ben C says 1. So that's 3 for the first article. See, I know my audience. You guys like making other people have as much painful as be as pained and cringed induced as I do. So I'm not too scared. Oh, come on, B Token. You have pedophilia to talk about, you have depression to talk about, or Biden. And me too. I mean, it's not that hard to choose. All of these things. Yes, the zoo stuff is over. For now. I may have another article that has something to do with it. I don't know. I haven't really looked over all of these too well. So B-Token says 2. Alright, we're tied for the first 2 articles. Zeogold, you are going to be the deciding factor because Ishtar and Mitzi have not thrown in their 2 cents. Zeogold, you have to choose between... I'll read you the titles. University academics say pedophilia is natural and normal for males to be aroused by children. Or, study links vegetarian and veganism diets to increased likelihood of depression. And we have 1 vote for Biden, but it's already 3 votes for the other 2. So, Zeo Gold, the choice is yours. 1 or 2. Oh, damn alien throws in for the veganism and the vegetarianism. So, I guess we're going to go with that one, because Zeo Gold is scarred. Don't worry, we'll get to 1. I promise you, we'll get to that first one. Study links veganism and vegetarianism diets to increased likelihood of depression. Most of the time, it's because no one wants to be around them because of their ideology and how they try and push it on everyone. But we're going to go ahead and see what they have to say. This is another mentality thing, so we're going from one thing to dealing with deviance and a mental issue to another thing that deals with deviance and a mental issue. A burger a day keeps the depression away. Not exactly, but it might help, according to a new American study. Because America's, fuck yeah. The University of Alabama report compiled 18 studies and looked at more than 160,000 people. It found that a vegetarian or vegan diet may increase the likelihood of depression. Malik asks, if Antoine is doing MSNBC on Tuesday, do you think it could be just Wren and Antoine, or does Ishtar have to be in it? Ishtar is usually in with MSNBC. I don't see why she wouldn't be. I don't know why you have a problem with Ishtar. Ray says, I tried to have a discussion with a vegan. They quit when I ordered to meet them in the middle. Oh, Ray. The UK's Daily Mail reported that the study found people eating a plant-based diet were twice as likely to take prescription drugs for mental illness and just about 3 times more likely to contemplate suicide. It also indicated that 33% of vegetarians suffer from depression or anxiety. Well, when you walk around smelling like patchouli oil for 90% of your day, and your hair could be set on fire and rival tire fires, yeah, people are not going to want to be around you. On top of that, I mean, most vegans that I've met, and there have been more than a few and it's mainly just on Twitter and Facebook, they are not the nicest people, and they pretty much just assume that anybody that could possibly eat anything that would be considered meat are just vile, horrible people. To me, I really don't care. Meat, I'm a carnivore. I was born with carnivorous teeth and omnivorous teeth. I will eat both. Plants and animals should fear human beings because they are all just food in the end. Anything can be food if you're daring enough. According to the researchers, avoiding meat might be a behavioral marker. Oh, okay. Malik says, I don't, meaning he doesn't have a problem with Ishtar. It's just she might still be kind of in mourning, so maybe if she still needs time to heal, it could just be Wren and Antoine. That would be up to her. As far as I know, Ishtar is okay with doing MSNBC. She didn't want me to cancel last week's MSNBC, but I figured she would need some time and some, personal time with me when she got home from work. So that was my decision. So that's why there wasn't an MSNBC. And Fowl comes in with, oh, like your hair smells good on fire. You know what? My hair on fire smells like, I don't know. I don't know. My hair's never been on fire. Ishtar tried to set the kitchen on fire this morning, so this morning it smelled like burnt plastic, but it smells better than burning patchouli oil. It could be a behavioral marker of people already with increased mental health struggles, though they conceded that would require further study to prove. So basically what they're saying is if you're understandingly a vegan or a vegetarian, chances are there is something wrong with you. They concluded that vegetarians and vegans had significantly higher rates of risk of depression, anxiety, and self-harm. How's it going, Red Feather? The researchers cautioned, our study does not support avoiding meat consumption for overall psychological health benefits. The study, Meat and Mental Health, a systematic review of meat abstinence and depression, anxiety, and related phenomena. They need to make these studies sound more entertaining, because that is a long-ass title. Was published in the Journal of Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition. So there you have it. A study of 160,000 people have found that if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, chances are, well, you're not only someone who possibly could self-harm, but you are probably depressed and have anxiety. Well, I'm doing okay, Red Feather. You missed the very first fun article that was about women and bestiality. I'm sure that is something that you're happy that you missed. I have so many articles that we are playing Russian roulette with you guys in the chat. You guys get to choose how this show is going to go, and I'm going to be going a little bit longer because I was very, very, very late. So we will probably be going to 7, maybe 7:15. So, we have 3 more articles for you guys to choose from. And I'm going to let you choose after reading the titles. Number 1. California shopper in Ku Klux Klan hood alarms customers and officials. 2. Outrage as New York City landlady posts TikTok video claiming she steals packages from tenants who can't pay rent. Or 3. This woman wears her vaginal juice as perfume, and men claim to love it. So, there you go. 1, 2, or 3. This is kind of a choose-your-own-adventure thing. So, you get to choose, you as a group get to choose the amount of cringe. We have 2 for 1, and 1 for 3. Another 1 for 1. Another 1 for... Alright, so we are tied once again for Article 1 and Article 3. Yes, I'm going to make dinner at some point, Ishtar. Malik comes in with a number 1. People want to hear about this Ku Klux Klan person shopping, huh? Ben, you already voted for 2. Can't change your vote. But it does look like it's going to be the KKK. Alright. We'll do that. California shopper in a KKK hood alarms customers and officials. Customers and local officials blasted a grocery shopper in a San Diego suburb. Of all places, San Diego. Sunny San Diego with all of their 70-degree weather, beautiful beaches, and all of the illegals running around. Well... It's kind of hard not to want to be in a KKK hood, apparently. Who was photographed wearing a Ku Klux Klan hood. Apparently, to provocatively conform to this country's coronavirus face mask requirements. That's what he was doing. He was doing it to... I mean, he was being out there loud and proud. Several. I can talk today. I can speak words. They are there in my face. They just don't want to come out. Several workers at the store in Santee confronted the supremacist shopper, who refused to remove the hood until shortly before he purchased his groceries and left. According to a spokesperson for the Vons supermarket company, unfortunately, an alarming and isolated incident occurred at our Vons store in Santee, where a customer chose an inflammatory method of wearing a face covering. Now, I have seen pictures of people wearing bags. I've seen someone wearing a water jug. I've seen someone wearing, like, pool noodles in, like, a 6-foot radius on his head. I have seen people wear some weird fucking shit during this. But the Klan hood is a bit interesting, I would think is the best word I can put for it. The spokesperson said in a statement, needless to say, it was shocking. This was a disturbing incident for our associates and customers, and we are reviewing with our team how to best handle such an inappropriate situation in the future. Malik says, Ishtar, get well and bounce back. Well, you got people rooting for you, Ish. Here is a picture of... Let's see if I can blow this up. Why not? Here we go. There we go. Bigger picture of the man in the KKK hood. And it is a legit KKK hood. That's... That is a... I mean... Yeah, the shoebox with a cookie. There have been a lot of people basically going off about weird things. So, it's, yeah. The shopper, who appeared to be a long-haired, middle-aged white man in shorts and a short-sleeved shirt, was not identified. Several people on social media called on others to name the customer if they recognized him. Santee Mayor John Minto condemned the symbol of hatred worn by the man and thanked those who confronted the customer. I mean, they showed him shopping in produce, not necessarily the fish mart, the fish portion. So, I don't know. Many thanks to all who stepped forward to curtail this sad reminder of intolerance, the mayor said in a joint statement with the city council. Santee, its leaders, and I will not tolerate such behavior. Well, you kind of tolerated it. It's not like he was arrested. You can confront him. This is the same thing as someone coming in and coming in as a group of them having a march. Or it's like the guy who dressed up as a plague doctor and walked around a small England town. They're not doing anything. Yes, it's a horrible symbol. But he's not hurting anyone. He's not speaking hate speech. So there's not much they can fucking do. Nothing at all. So what are they going to do? Confront him and tell him, hey, you can't wear that hood? He's going to say, fuck off. I can do what I'm not hurting anybody. I can do what I want. This isn't going to accomplish anything. But of course, it is California we're talking about. So instead, what he should have done is not wear the hood and just steal $950 worth of groceries, and they would have been okay with it. Do you think he brought the mask to meet the requirements? Yeah, that's what he was doing. He brought the mask to meet the face mask requirements. No, Red Feather, I've not talked about the stormtrooper that got arrested in Canada. But that's something else that could have... that would have not happened here in America. It would have not happened. There's nothing that they could have done. When you have Justin Trudeau being dumb enough to not only add his ban list of fucking assault weapons to have a airsoft rifle on it, as well as Black Rifle Coffee, to have them arrest, detain, traumatize, and injure a young woman who is dressed as a stormtrooper on May 4th, I am not surprised. The only thing that would make this worse is if the girl who was in the stormtrooper outfit was black. So, it continues on. A woman who posted one of several photos of the shopper on social media told the Times of San Diego, I was in disbelief. I had to clutch my pearls and find my fainting couch. How dare these people come out of the woodworks and show that they exist. This is what the progressive left has been saying anyway. Haven't they? That America is filled with racists? That they are unabashed and walking around screaming, this is MAGA country? I don't know why they're surprised. This is what they believe anyway. I'm surprised that there wasn't a whole slew of white supremacists in that Vons. And they're just virtue signaling to try and deflect from the fact that they're all racist. I mean, how dare these white people and these Karens come in and accost the whole thing, accost the people that are just talking about their free speech and things of that nature. Yes, I mean, they were acting like it's just a fucking hood. Alright, if you find out who he is, you know who to avoid. They're acting as if he came in with a fucking vest on with bombs on it. Ray says, I don't think Trudeau could face the victim if the victim was black. That's because he'd be jealous that it wasn't him in the costume. So, let's see. I was in disbelief. He was behind me in line. A man in a wheelchair went past and saluted him, and he laughed. I took the photo because I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. I've grown up in Santee and have never seen such racism right before my eyes. Was he saying anything racist? Alright, let's talk about this. The symbol itself is a hate symbol, yes? The Ku Klux Klan, they're a horrible organization now. Started by the Democrats, used to be a boys' club, turned into what it is. It used to just be a gentleman's club. That's all it was. It's turned into what it is now. I mean, if the problem is just the hood itself, there's nothing he was doing. Okay? He wasn't walking around the store screaming, "See Kyle." He wasn't screaming at black people. He wasn't holding a sign that said, "I hate joggers." If you guys catch that joke, I hope you do. He wasn't doing any of that stuff. He was wearing a hood. We don't even know if this was a real hood or not. It looks real, but we don't know if it was just a costume. We have no idea what it was. Was he hurting anybody? No. This is the same thing as if he was deciding to stand out on a corner waving a sign. He's allowed to do it. And yes, okay, Red Feather, aside from the fact that it's standing straight up, I would say yes, it's a pillowcase. I honestly believe this is a legit Klan hood. I mean, there's not much that they could really do. He didn't do anything. It's just they're shocked that someone came out and did this. In the world that we are in today, in the country that we are in today, where we are filled to the brim with people who do stupid pranks, who pull stupid shit on social media, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these people actually knew this guy who posted it on Twitter. Do I think he did this for shits and giggles? Yes. Do I think he's a white supremacist? My vote goes no. But in a world, in a generation that we are in today, where social media is everything, I mean, come on. It's not that hard to think that maybe, just maybe, this was done for attention. Apparently Ray is stealing my thunder. Says he tried to set Mr. T on fire, but Mr. T pitied him so hard that all he had left was the hood. He died from pity shock 3 days later. Santee has a dark history of racist attacks and skinhead activity that earned the city of some 55,000 people the nicknames Clanty and Santucky, noted the San Diego Union Tribune. No, it's not Santucky. I'm from Southern California. It's not Santucky. It's Fontucky. Talking about Fontana. Fontucky is horrible. Stay away from Fontana. Don't live in Fontana. It's one of the worst places you can live. Outside Barstow or Banning. Anyway, let's finish this up. The white supremacy and anti-Semitism have become intertwined with the protests against COVID-19 for some stupid fucking reason. The Auschwitz Museum deplored the use of a Nazi slogan by a protester in Chicago on Friday. Big fucking deal. I understand why they didn't want the protester to use it, but they were trying to make a statement. Auschwitz is in Germany, which doesn't have free speech. In America, we do. It was on a sign. It's not like it's something that is violent. She held aloft a sign reading, Arbeit macht frei JB. The phrase means work sets you free, and was posted at some Nazi death camps where Jews and others were worked to death or killed during World War II. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, is Jewish. Wait, what? The Klan and skinheads are very different. Yes, they are. That slogan was photoshopped. The person who photoshopped it tagged the museum. Nice, so it wasn't even real and the museum came out, because people can't fucking understand jokes, memes, and shit like that. Michigan Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmire, or as most people are calling her, the idiot that runs the state, in an interview Sunday condemned racist symbols, including Confederate flags and swastikas, displayed by some in protest against a stay-at-home order safety measure at the state capitol building last week, because she has gone full fascist. She has gone basically saying she has gone above and beyond for the people of fucking Michigan. basically extending it to a point where it doesn't need to be extended, making it so they can't buy seeds, or making it so they can't gather. And then you have people, Cuomo, what's his name, in New York, basically saying you're not allowed to protest anymore. That's right. The governor of New York is telling Americans your First Amendment, the First Amendment, your first and most important right does not matter. Stay at home. You're not allowed to protest. These idiots are not going to get reelected. Oh yeah, Red Feather, if they had commie flags, it would be fine. Trust me. If he walked around, if he was in a Klan hood and walked around with it red with Chinese stars on it, he'd be perfectly fine. The Confederate flag and nooses, the swastika, the behavior that you've seen in all of the clips is not representative of who we are in Michigan, Whitmire said. Or as Za is calling her, Bitchmire. We're calling her Bitchmire. And she is. She is being a fucking bitch. I hope the people of Michigan vote her ass out. Well, I'm glad the seed part has expired. Because, alright, so I was doing yard work today. And we went to our local farmer's market. And they were hopping, y'all. And I'm not talking hopping as in just busy. I'm talking they had to extend their parking lot. Because not only were they selling flowers, because it is the spring, going into summer. And flowers are very important, especially to Ishtar, because she wants her entire front yard nothing but flowers. They had veggies for sale, starter veggies, corn, pumpkin, melons. They had herbs. They had all this stuff that you could go buy and start your own garden. This place was busy as shit, and we love going there. The people who run it are really nice. The farm that owns it, when they do start having their farmers market again, their food is always delicious. Their veggies are always fresh. Their fruit is always fresh. Their prices are amazing. But what I'm saying is, people want, because of this, because of being locked down and shit like that, people are seeing the bonus of growing your own food. Because if there's a shortage, like is being predicted, if there's a shortage, you have food. You can grow it yourself. And a lot of the times, the food you grow yourself tastes 1,000 times better than store-bought. Because it's fresh. You know where it came from. You took care of it. You know what nutrients went into it. And you can use as many as you want. You can give it to your neighbors. When I was little, my dad had a little garden. A little veggie garden in our backyard. And when I say little, I mean it took up about a half of our backyard. And we had a huge backyard. We had 4 rows of corn. We had tomatoes. We had watermelon. We had cucumbers. We had potatoes. And I think we had one other, I can't remember. I think it was squash. But we had all of these veggies. What did we do? Because my dad and my mom had no idea how many ears of corn were produced on each plant of corn. We gave it to our neighbors. I mean, there's only so much you can do with corn, and when you have 40 ears of it, it's a bit much. Strawberries. We grew fresh strawberries. All of this stuff was delicious. Did we do it again? We tried to. My dad wanted to make more watermelon because I am a watermelon fiend. Ishtar can attest to this. I will eat watermelon all year round. Any type of watermelon, it's delicious. I found out that there is yellow watermelon and black watermelon and blue watermelon. I want to try them all. Anyway, people have found the importance of growing their own food. So this place, when we get a chance, Ishtar and I are going to be making a vegetable garden in our backyard because we want to grow our own veggies. We've had the pears from our pear tree. They're delicious. We've had the pear. We have an apple tree in the back. We haven't had any of the apples from it, but because they trimmed it down and there was one solitary apple that grew on it last year. We're hoping to get more this year, but they're going to be good. So growing your own food is a good thing. So I'm glad the seed ban is done. That's my little rant on that. So, all right, you guys, we have 3 new articles for you to choose for this Choose Your Own Adventure. And the first one is... Now, I want to say that this article got taken down. It was in the Stylist, but it was taken down. The Stylist took it down. We'll get back to the Biden article. You shush, Ishtar. So 1, is sleep a feminist issue? This is how men steal our sleep. 2, viral video of a woman boxing a dog sparks animal cruelty investigation. Oh, I already did that one. Or 3, why you need to stop baking bread. So, 1, 2, or 3. I'm leaving it up to you guys. Maybe boxing is her foreplay. Yes, see? Ray knows. This woman was just working the dog up so she could bend over later for him. It is hearkening back to the article from the beginning of the show. Let's see. We got 3 3s, 2 1s. Zah coming in with a 2. We may be reading this bread article. Can I use my Biden defense? What's your Biden defense? I don't think feminists are comparing men to Freddy Krueger. But I don't know. I haven't read the article yet. I'm going for you guys. So we got 3 3s, 3 1s. I need someone to break the tie. Mitzi, Ishtar, anybody. Watermelon. Malik, you already voted. Who else is here? Siri, if you're still here, we need you to vote. Penn voted 2. That doesn't help Penn. Scott, no problem, says 3. All right, how's it going, Scott? 3 it is. We're talking about bread. This beautiful, beautiful Choose Your Own Adventure. Why you need to stop baking bread. Now, I want to point out that this article is written by a Karen. This article is written by a Karen, everybody. And when I read this article, you understand why I point out that this Karen has an issue. I was walking down the baking aisle to see if the organic flour was on sale. Already this bitch is a Karen. Organic flour is expensive, and I am poor, so I always try to buy it when it goes on sale. There was no sale and no flour. The shelves were bare. My eyes traveled up to the top shelf, the shelf with the leavening ingredients, also bare. How could this be? When I got home, I logged onto my laptop and started reading articles on the pandemic. I had stopped reading most pandemic-related articles weeks ago because they were upsetting me too much. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't concentrate. I needed to distance myself. But I knew that the pandemic had something to do with the bare shelves in the baking aisle, so I exposed myself to the turmoil once more. I hope I am giving this the levity that this article deserves. If you guys are enjoying it, let me know. It seems that there has been a run on flour and yeast because people are bored, so they are baking bread to pass the time. Seriously? Baking bread is a way of life for me, not a hobby. Not something to do just to pass the time. I don't eat store-bought bread. I don't sound bitchy enough? I don't know if I can get that bitchy. I mean, I can get Ishtar in here for her to read and she can get bitchy. I rarely eat prepared foods of any kind. If you visited my kitchen, you would find food but nothing to eat because I only stock ingredients. I do all of my own cooking and baking. On Saturday nights, I don't order pizza. I make it. From scratch. Including the crust. I also grow my own popcorn. But that's a topic for another day. You see, I'm one of those people. You know the ones. You offer them a plate of food, and they look at you suspiciously asking, "Is that organic?" I want to know what is in my food, so I make it myself. Okay. Let me stop with the bitchiness for a second and talk about the term organic. I love the term organic just like I love the term gluten-free. Organic doesn't mean what people think it means. When they use it in this context, they're talking about farm fresh or no pesticides or anything like that. To use the term organic, basically, I could give this woman a plate of bullshit. And I'm not talking about me bullshitting her. I'm talking about I could walk out to a cow, wait for it to poop on the plate, and put it in front of her, and it would be considered organic because it is made out of organic material. Okay? That's what organic means. It is organic material. Is the stream down? Uh-oh. For me it says low output. But it still says it's there. So it's YouTube right now with everything that's going on. Everybody's still... Okay, it's back. So that's my problem with the term organic. It's just edible material. Organic, not even edible material. It's organic material. The wood in your house is organic. Is your home organic? No! So, for her to use, is that organic? If she came to my house and asked me if that shit was organic, not only would she be running out my door with me just lambasting her with her idiocy, but I would laugh the fact that she would never want to come back. I don't care if this is a sister-in-law of mine, or a future sister-in-law of mine, or anybody. It could be Melania Trump, and I would be respectful to her, but tell her she's a moron. Is that organic? I hate that buzzword. I want to know what is in my food, so I make it myself. That's great. Thank you, God Pikachu. God Pikachu says, biologically speaking, anything which contains carbon chain molecules is organic. So that's what it means. So yeah, you can put a plate of shit in front of her and say, yeah, it's organic, eat up. Don't mind the smell. It came fresh from the cow. Where was I? Yes. By the way, croutons, made from my homemade bread, breading for fried chicken, made from homemade bread, stuffing for the Thanksgiving turkey, made from my homemade bread. So when you buy up all the flour and leavening ingredients for the sake of pretty photos on your Instagram feed, you are literally taking food from my mouth. And the mouths of other families who also do their own baking so that they can provide healthy food for their families. I want to slap this bitch so hard, you have no idea. Here's the problem. It's economics 101. Supply and demand. Before the pandemic, very few people did scratch baking, so the grocery stores carried only limited supplies of flour and leavening. Both go bad, so they don't want it hanging around on the shelves too long. Hence the limited quantities. That was okay. There was always enough for those of us who needed it. But there is not enough now that we are competing with a bunch of dilettante bakers who care nothing for anything but themselves. Wow. Did she actually write that? Going through this entire article, I'm sorry, let me reread that last sentence, less bitch added to it, but let's see if the self-awareness is in this article. But there is not enough now that we are competing with a bunch of dilettante bakers who care nothing for anyone but themselves. If I was the editor of this article, because this is an opinion piece, that's all this is. If I wasn't the editor of this article, I would look at her and go, read that sentence one more time. Slowly. Yes, she can buy ingredients online, but she wants to know where it comes from, Pen. Yes, Red Feather, that's exactly what she thinks. All these people are just buying the leavening ingredients and the flour and the baking stuff just to spite her. Yes, I know that sounds harsh, but I'm willing to bet not a single one of them stopped to think as they grabbed the last of the flour and the yeast that they were robbing other people's children of their daily bread. Nope. I'm certain all they cared about was how impressed everyone was going to be with their picture-perfect loaves of bread. This bitch is jealous. That's what this is. I kind of want to buy all of the flour in the store now. I want to find where Karen White shops, and I want to go in and buy I want her to be there when I grab all of the flour off the shelves. I just want to grab all of the baking ingredients and then look at the yeast and the leavening ingredients and just dump it into my cart while staring at her dead-eyed. And when she goes to complain, I'm just going to say, yeah, I'm baking a bunch of cookies for an AIDS bake sale, along with cakes and muffins and cookies. I already said cookies, but more cookies. And then just watch her jaw clench and go, that's right, fuck off, Karen. Here's an idea. I love this final part. Here's an idea. If you are bored and want to learn new skills, why don't you learn how to garden and impress everyone with your tomatoes? Or how about learning how to sew and make masks for hospitals and first responders? I know, learn to crochet so you can make those cute market bags for when you go to the farmer's market. But please, please, I'm begging you, stop baking bread. Karen White. This is her tagline. Karen White is a master gardener. I don't know what that means. And a member of the Herb Society of America. I didn't know that was a thing. She manages 2 public herb gardens in New Jersey. Any of my fans who live in New Jersey, find where this bitch shops and buy all of the flour every single time. And then just give it away outside. Don't take it anywhere. Just go outside and be like, here, you look like you need flour. It's still sealed. It's still good. Here, you need flour. Nathan Marcano for $5 says, Twitter isn't real. Epstein didn't kill himself, and hope this finds you all in good health and safety. Thank you very much, Nathan. Thank you. It's always appreciated. Yeah, Karen, and this is Karen's picture. I don't know if you guys can see it all that well. I don't know if I can bring it up. This is from Archive. So yeah, this is an archived thing because they probably tore this one down too. But yeah, Karen thinks that during this pandemic, where people are learning to do things like bake their homemade bread and do a whole bunch of other stuff that they need to learn how to fucking do because food is running short, are doing this in spite of her. Ray says, do you think that people who look like Shaggy or Snoop Dogg join the Herb Society of America only to be very, very disappointed? Maybe. It depends on what they're smoking. Fowl says, that shit usually just mellows me out. Karen tokes up and fights people in the supermarket. Not wrong, Fowl, not wrong. Alright, another choose your own adventure. We're done with that. We're moving on to the next one. So we're going to go back. We have, for the number 1, we have university academics say pedophilia is, quote-unquote, natural and normal for males to be aroused by children. Article number 2, Me Too founder, Biden could show what it looks like to be both accountable and electable. or 3. Outrage as New York City landlady posts TikTok video claiming she steals packages from tenants who can't pay rent. I bring you the best internet insanity, don't I? I really, really do. God damn it, Ray. So, you guys in the chat get to pick your next adventure. 1, 2, or 3. Hey, Ray, Penn. You need to prove that for a few more minutes before you let it go any further. There is no 4, Penn. You got 1, 2, or 3. All right, so we have 3 for 1, 1 for 2. Nathan says 1 or 2. So, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for 1. 1 for 3, 1 for 2. All right, 1 it is. We're going to get this one out of the way, apparently. Red Feather says the one that'll piss me off, and I'm a glutton for punishment. All right. University academics say pedophilia is, quote-unquote, natural and normal for males to be aroused by children. I don't even know where to go. I don't even want to guess where this article is going to go. But I'm sure it's going to piss everybody off, so let's do this. An academic conference held at the University of Cambridge said that pedophilia interest is natural and normal for males, and that at least a sizable minority of normal males would like to have sex with children, and normal males are aroused by children. These sentiments were discussed at a conference that took place last year to discuss the classification of sexuality and the DSM-5, the standard international psychiatric manual used by the legal system. So it looks like all of those maps and no maps on Twitter, if this gets any further, are going to be happy that they're going to classify pedophilia as normal in the DSM-6. Oh, God. The conference, I don't know where we're going, but I want to know why we're in this handbasket. I don't know why this is even coming up. The conference, which was titled Classifying Sex, Debating DSM-5, had featured a number of speakers who spoke in favor of sex with children, which in essence is supporting pedophilia. Oh, God. How are you, it's not even, what did they say? Did they say debating? No, it's just, they weren't debating, it was speaking in favor of. These people need to be on the list. The American Psychiatric Association, which produces it, had been locked in battle over whether hebephilia should be included as a disorder. Hebephilia is the sexual preference for children in early puberty, typically 11 to 14 years old. This isn't even a debate. This is like a fucking TED... What is this? Fucking TEDx, but for professionals? Good God. The proposal was being discussed because children are going through puberty at a younger age, and the current definition of pedophilia is attraction to prepubescent children. One of the attendees, an enthusiastic participant, was Tom O'Carroll, a multiple child sex offender and longtime campaigner for the legalization of sex with children and former head of the Pedophile Information Exchange. They brought this dude to talk! They brought this dude to a psychological conference. I'm going to read it one more fucking time, just in case you guys didn't catch that. One of the attendees, an enthusiastic participant, and we're going to find out why in a second, was Tom O'Carroll, a multiple child sex offender and a longtime campaigner for the legalization of sex with children and former head of the Pedophile Information Exchange. And Cambridge thought this was a good fucking idea to bring him? You know what? Amos Yee. Why didn't they just fucking contact Amos Yee? If I see that fucking name in here, Cambridge is dead. I'm sorry. Cambridge needs to... Are you fucking kidding me? Cambridge is one of the people that I praised last time because they were going through and were one of the heads, one of the people who were leading the fucking the drive for the vaccine against COVID. And now this week we find out that Cambridge decided to host this DSM-5 thing with the APA, and they brought in a multiple child sex offender and wondered why he was for legalizing it. Maybe because that means he'll be able to go out and bang another 12-year-old and not get in trouble for it. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Foul, you're right. I don't know what TED Talk from Hell this is, but it's there. And it's staying, and this is in Cambridge. One of the most elite colleges in the world. Not just the country, in the world. Wonderful, he wrote in his blog afterwards. He has a blog! Someone find his blog. Someone find his blog, and if they can get a list of the people who are following him and following his blog, I can guarantee you, they're on a list somewhere, or they should be on a list, or they have shit on their computer they're not supposed to have. It was a rare few days when I could feel relatively popular. Gee, I wonder why you weren't popular. I wonder why you weren't fucking popular. Why people who know you, who have kids, don't want to be around you. Maybe because they know if they leave you alone with their daughter or their son long enough, and if they're the right age preference, you're going to try and stick your dick in them. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm going to tone it down a little bit so I can read this and calmly. I'm already having trouble speaking with some of the shit that we're talking about today and some of the internet insanity, but are you goddamn kidding me? After a fierce battle in the American Psychiatric Association, which produces it, a proposal to include hemophilia as a disorder in the new edition of the DSM-5 has been defeated. Good! Fucking good! Leave it out of it. It's a philia. No, it's a fetish. It's something that it's something that people. It's a philia. It's not good. Pedophilia, necrophilia, zoophilia, all the philias, those are derangements. They're not what needs to be. They're not what needs to be accepted. Okay, we don't need maps on fucking Twitter cheering that this got passed into the DSM-5. Because if it does, we're never going to hear the fucking end of it. Yes, I chose these B-Token. I chose them specifically on title alone. I don't read them because I want to give you guys an honest reaction. There have been very few that I have read ahead of time. This one I saw the title and went, this should be good to talk about. It's going to enrage my chat. It's going to get some discussion going. I didn't know that Cambridge was like, hey, any pedophiles want to come up and talk about how you banged kids and how it should be legal? The proposal arose because puberty in children has started even earlier in recent decades, and as a result, it was argued the current definition of pedophilia, pre-pubertal sexual attraction, missed out too many young people. Oh, I'm sorry. Because they're hitting puberty younger, you're missing out on your window. I'm sorry, Cambridge. I'm sorry, the APA. You missed out on your window to fuck a child. Ray Blanchard, professor of psychiatry at the University of Toronto. Man, Mitzi, if you're still here and this motherfucker starts praising it, we need to nuke Canada, okay? That's it. So just be forewarned. Zeo Gold, let it fly, man. I'm letting it fly. Ray Blanchard, professor of psychiatry at the University of Toronto, who led the APA's working group on the subject, said that unless some other way was found of encompassing hebephilia in the new manual, that was tantamount to stating that the APA's official position is that the sexual preference for early pubertal children is normal. Wait. Unless they found some way to include hebephilia, it was tantamount to stating that the APA's official position is that stating the sexual preference for early puberty children is normal. Mitzi, goddammit, what is wrong with your fucking country? I know Blossom's not here, but what the fuck, Blossom? I'm blaming both of you for this. Raz, you're not here either. I'm blaming you. Professor Blanchard was in turn criticized by a speaker at the Cambridge conference, Patrick Singy of Union College, New York, who said New Yorker, who said hebephilia would be abused as a diagnosis to detain sex offenders as mentally ill under U.S. sexually violent predator laws even after they had completed their sentences. Are you sure it's a good thing? Because he's basically saying that it's normal. But perhaps the most controversial presentation of all was by Philip Tromovich, a professor at Doshisha University in Japan. I don't. The guy who fought against it is saying that they'll use it. I don't know who's good or who's bad. I'm just saying this topic. Oh, if they don't fix it, okay. I take everything back about Canada then. Japan, yes, who stated in a presentation on the prevalence of pedophilia that the majority of men are probably pedophiles and hebephiles, and that pedophilic interest is normal and natural in human males. This coming from apparently the New Yorker was the bad one. So yeah, saying that pedophilic interests are normal, coming from the dude from Japan. Look, I know there is a huge discussion going on Twitter right now, and it's been going on for a long fucking time, and it's the conversation is lolicon considered art, or is it child abuse? And there are people who say that it's art because there is no actual child that's being hurt. It is not real, it is a picture. Then there are the people who are like, well, the people who like lolicon are just child molesters, but they're using it to curb their interest because it's a picture. This is from fucking Japan. Are you kidding me? O'Carroll, the former PIE leader, was thrilled and described on his blog how he joined Professor Tromovich and a colleague for drinks after the conference. That's great. I mean, it's perfectly normal to be like, yeah, I'm going to defend pedophilia, and I'm going to take this child molester, and we're going to go have some drinks after the conference is over. You want to join us? No! Why would anyone want to join you? Unless they had a gun and decided at the end of the drinks that they had enough that it was okay for them to shoot you in the fucking face. No, guys, I'm not for it or against it. I don't care. I was just using it as an example to state that this is the guy from Japan. Okay? The conversation flowed most agreeably along with the drinks and the beautiful River Cam, he said. Find these people, find them, and just help them off of the Empire State Building. That's the best way I can put it. Because what I want to say is going to get my channel thrown off of YouTube. Like, I have a fidget cube. I don't know if you've been hearing me hit the buttons and shit. This stuff drives me up a fucking wall. I'm glad it was overturned. I'm glad it was denied. I'm glad it was defeated. These idiots don't need an excuse. Yes, the Empire State Building in Minecraft. Eat them like Naughty Dog yeeted reviewers. There you go. Hey, I'm B-Token. I'm right there with you. Oh, this is already going to be demonetized, Malik. Don't worry about that. My very first article is proof of that. Oh, well, guys, you chose this adventure. We have gone down the rabbit hole of it. Oh no, we're gonna keep... I saw there were comments. We're gonna keep going down this rabbit hole. Shadow says, so it's natural for some males to be aroused by children. Civilized people obey the rules and don't act on it. And then Mark comes in and says, that's what we used to say about homosexuals. Mark is an idiot. Kerr comes in and says, you can't compare homosexuality to pedophilia. One can be consensual relationship between two adults, and the other there can be no consent. That what may be natural to the paraphilic is vile and unacceptable to our culture and should remain so, as consent can't be given. To me, what this says is that there should be a civil commitment of all pedophiles indefinitely. Kerr, you had me. I was right along with you. I was going for you. I was saying, yes, Kerr is going to state something, and then you threw that last bit at the end where you're like, as long as there is a lifelong civil commitment, they can fuck children. No, they can't. No. Kerr, you had me until the end. You had me until that last bit. Rod says, yeah, there may be consent, but there are a crap ton of gays who prey on straight people hoping to turn them gay. Just like the tranny at the nightclubs. Being gay is not normal just because of consent. There are more people with cancer than there are gays, and cancer is not normal. Oh, God. Rod, you are an idiot. Rod, you have a name Rod. Of course you're a fucking moron. Rondez, you're a Tea Party Republican, aren't you? Rose says, gay people do not prey on straight people to turn them gay any more than tall people prey on short people to turn them tall. Don't be so foolish, Rod. Oh, Rod got a lot of pushback. Good. Rod got a shit ton of pushback. Hate to break... Project Wake Up. Hate to break it to you. Where do you think this came from? The gay rights movement has created this because why? They were born this way. This whole scenario... I don't like Project Wake Up already. This whole scenario has been engineered by those who control the media, movies, and TV shows. Why do you think we see nothing but transgender this, gay that? The rights of others stripped from everyone who doesn't support being gay, being a child molester, being transgender. This entire socially engineered scheme is too hard for the dumbed-down trendy to even believe. The government is so in love with those filled with nothing but ignorance, and you are their pets when they feed you the bait, and the idiots bite every time. Listen, Project Wake Up wakes up every morning, puts on that fucking tinfoil hat, and walks around with his underwear on inside out and backwards. It's to fight off the aliens so they don't probe his butthole. Okay? Rod is a moron. This is just fucking stupid. Where does this come from? You know what? I half expected Project Wake Up to throw in something about Jews. Yeah, Pen, I wish we could go back to the bread woman. This is making people's heads hurt. We're gonna, let's see. Let's read some of these replies to Mr. Project Wake Up. Rusty Shackelford says, is it the fact that you never grew out of a child's mentality that leaves you unable to tell the difference between sex involving adults and a child? Ray, I understood that. That's why I said he's a moron. He wears a tinfoil hat. He probably has a tinfoil pair of underwear as well. I'm surprised this guy doesn't look like the fucking Tin Man from the original Wizard of Oz. Kita says, you're not born gay. That is incorrect. Basically, you are calling God a liar. He hates homosexuals. Why would he create homosexuals and then say he hates them? Come on now. Wow, Kita, you're... Wow. Okay. I don't like Kita either. I didn't know what I was going to find in this comment section, but we're going to keep going. We're going to pass on... Yeah, Red Feather, you got that right. Fuck all these people. I thought some people in the comments were going to be like, no, pedophilia is wrong. And instead it's like, pedophilia is wrong unless they commit to them for life. What? Okay. All right. On this next Choose Your Own Adventure, we have 3 more articles. Number 1. This woman wears her vaginal juices as perfume and claims men love it. Number 2. Is sleep a feminist issue? This is how men steal our sleep. And 3. Video of a woman boxing dog sparks animal cruelty investigation. I give to you tier 1, 2, and 3 of internet insanity. Make your choice. And while you guys are making your choice, I'm going to go get some more to drink because this article hurt my head and my throat. Oh, God. All right, we are back. So we have 2 for Article 2, 3 for Article 1, and 1 for Article 3. All right, let's see. Brave voted 2. Feminist sleep. We need refresher after that shit show. Okay, so Malik, Nathan is for number 2, so that's 3 for 2, 3 for 1, 1 for 3. Yo, Red Feather. Red Feather says, how much vag juice does she have? Maybe she should go into business with Gwyneth Paltrow. You know what, Red Feather, you are just wrong. All right, we have a tie between the second article and the first article. I need a tiebreaker. Draconeth, you're here. How's it going? Pick 1 or 2. I'm putting you on the spot, Dragon. If you pick correctly, there may be some cat girls in it for you. I'm just saying. Oh, Ishtar says 1. Alright, so we don't have a tie. God damn it! Draconeth, you have failed me! We're back to a tie. Son of a bitch. Alright, Alright, we're going to flip a coin between 1 and 2. My phone is dead, so we will not be flipping a coin between 1 and 2. Let's see. Foul! Oh, there we go. Steve. Steve picked 1. We're going to do 1. Alright, in this next adventure of this Choose Your Own Adventure story, you guys have chosen poorly. This woman wears her vaginal juice as perfume and claims men love it. When in search of a partner, I'm assuming this is an opinion piece by Josette Nielsen. When in search of a partner, I think we can all agree that scent is a pretty big deal. No one is interested in someone who doesn't understand the importance of personal hygiene. Pheromones play a huge role in sexual chemistry between 2 people. But it's safe to assume that you've never considered using your lady juice as a scent to attract men. I'm sorry. What? Pen? Red Feather? Ishtar? Have you ever thought of this? Like, I know you can bake sourdough from your yeast and shit, and you can make smoothies out of placenta, but have you ever thought of using your vaginal mucus as a way to attract men? Pen, you live in Florida. Has this happened before? Are you sure it's Florida? They do weird shit in Florida. Author. Oh, that's cool. Ben C. Ben C is bringing some levity to this situation. Says, hey, Antoine, it was just announced that they will make a Dark Constantine with Keanu Reeves with Justice League live action. That's actually really cool. No, Ishtar, I would not enjoy it. Author and sexologist Shan Budram, that's a horrible name, does just that and confidently stands behind its foolproof. That's not full, F-U-L-L, it's foolproof ability to bring all the boys to her yard. God damn it, Ray. Oh no. In her new book, Budram claims that she made a habit out of wearing her vaginal juices. But what? It's almost as bad as the feminists who walk around, with their period blood on their faces like football face paint. According to Shan, most men can't get enough of it. I want to know what this woman looks like. Because if she's hot, that's what they can't get enough of. It doesn't matter what she's wearing. She no longer relies on outside sources for a lovely smell to attract the opposite sex. For that, she takes a look inside. Budram refers to her personal juice mix as, oh god, Love Potion Number Vagine. Or vagine, I guess. Oh, God. No. Thank you, Malik. That's what it is. Malik has touched on exactly what this woman has come across. MGTOW around the country. MGTOW around the world. You need to come to this stream right now. We have found out exactly what this woman is doing. She is using her copulins to attract men. God damn, Malik, don't drop knowledge on people like that and expect it not to be exposed to the world. Ben said... Ben says she probably looks like she's been hit with a couple of bag of nickels every 10 minutes. Oh, God. It's difficult not to give her props on originality here, and in name and product. Ray, you're horrible. Ray, you are absolutely horrible. I love you so much, but you are horrible. She is quoted saying, use your Bartholin's glands to acquire a new sample. This gland may be the size of a pea, but it plays a huge role in the lubrication of the vagina. Once a respectable amount of wetness is achieved, you rub it along the collarbone, neck, and wrists. Is anyone else having second thoughts about their perfumes right now? Just me? Moving on. No one is having second thoughts about perfume. No one with a rational brain, no one with a rational mind and common sense are thinking about changing their perfume to eau de fish. You are spreading bacteria on yourself. That's what you're doing. It's... Oh, God. She apparently claims that so long as you are healthy and clean down there, that using this method as a perfume should not make you smell bad. In other words, even if it has no positive effects on your relationship and love life, it definitely won't have any negative effects, so what's the harm in trying? The fact that you're finger blasting yourself to get yourself perfume. To reiterate, Boodram makes no guarantees that making your own natural love juice, stop calling it that, will have your desired partner flocking to you. Just that it may, and you really have nothing to lose in trying it out. Ray says, mental image. Her partner fingers her but just sort of keeps spreading that around to the collarbone. Oh, God. Ray, you're horrible. Absolutely. This is why I love you and hate you. You're absolutely nasty. Do you think she enjoys getting into a fish slapping competition? Probably. Oh, God. Red Feather, she does claim that men love it. It's supposed to be a guarantee, but you have to understand when you're dealing with woo science and shit like this, you have to leave yourself an out. Because if you say it works 100% of the time, one person coming in saying it didn't work for me at all kind of debunks everything you said. Boodram continues with suggesting that this method gives her a sense of empowerment as a woman. I guess if you're confident in your pookie, might as well put it on your neck. It's the same type of people that wear the pussy hats, and like a woman, it's like the same woman who did the pussy face masks. She is quoted again saying, "So while I'm not positive on the effectiveness of this experiment, I am sure that anytime I use it, I feel like an enchanted goddess with a naughty secret." Do you want to know how else you do that? You dress yourself up nice, and you don't wear panties. That's a naughty secret. That's something that men won't know unless you're wearing skin-tight leotards or a dress that makes it look like they can... Or they're wearing a dress that makes it they could be your gynecologist without actually you spreading your legs. That's a naughty secret. Wiping your snail trail over your neck and shoulders is not a naughty secret. Wow. Hard to argue with that, to be honest. Who doesn't want to feel like a strong goddess with a kinky secret? Ishtar, I have called you my goddess before. When your hair is brilliantly red and gorgeous, you are my ruby-haired goddess. Do you want to have this kind of kinky secret? I didn't see that, Ben. Oh, God. Ben says, so if I fart, does that mean I make my own cologne? Yes. I mean, you're also able to pass on COVID that way, but I guess you're making your own cologne? I don't know. I feel like... B-Token says, I feel like I've heard jokes like this before, like cat piss and cologne or some shit. B-Token says, squirt, new from Paris Hilton. Oh, that's horrible. Boodram makes it a point to emphasize mind over matter. Effect of using vaginal lady juices as a perfume. She insinuates that this method has the power to make you hotter because you believe that it has the power to do so. She writes, it doesn't matter if your vaginal juices and pheromones really make you irresistible or not. You only have to believe that it does, and you will act in a more confident and bolder manner. You can do that without spreading your juices all over your face, neck, and shoulders. You can do that. You can. Listen, any ladies who are listening to this still and have not gone off the deep end and jumped into a river with man-eating sharks, you can be as confident as you want to be without spreading your snail trail over your chest, okay? Just be confident in your attractiveness. We don't need to tell you that men find confidence extremely attractive. Hey, guys, women find confidence really attractive too. It's a thing. Both sexes like it. So who are we to deny this crazy and unconventional method? If trying it out for yourself is the only way to really know, would you? That's the $100 question. Because this is not worth 1,000. Ladies, if it was going to give you confidence, it's called a snail trail, Ishtar. If this was going to give you confidence, is this something you guys would do? Guys, if an article came out that said spreading your semen over underneath your eyes is going to give you confidence, would you do that? Are you that fucking desperate? There's a okay, so snail trail. Okay, so guys have teabagging. Okay, it's where you drop your balls and you're on top of your friend's face. That's teabagging. Red Feather, we talked about that on MSNBC, I believe. The woman who decided... No, that was last Vox. Not last weekend, but the weekend before. The woman who decided she was going to drink semen. And that it was good for her. Or was it MSNBC? I don't know. This shit goes... This shit gets mixed up. So, teabagging is when you drag your nuts over someone's face. A snail trail is the female version, where you drag your vag over someone's face. Teabagging is just dropping your balls anywhere. So, yeah, that was that. Alright, guys. We are continuing this adventure. I have to go help Ishtar real quick, so I'm going to go over the articles to choose from again. But we're only going to choose from 2 this time. So, article number 1. Me Too founder says Biden could show what it looks like to be both accountable and electable. Or 2, outrage as New York City landlady posts TikTok video claiming she steals packages from tenants who can't pay rent. You want a link to that article? Why? Why, God, would you want a link to that article? Alright. Oh, you meant after the show? Well, I'm already on my way out to fix it, Ishtar. So we're going to do that. And B-Token, you can't vote more than once. So I will be right back, guys. Listen to the music. Have some fun. So, apparently, the job is going to take longer than normal. So she does want to wait until after. It's whoever is the newest subscriber, guys. I don't choose it. It just kind of shows up. I guess if you wanted to unsubscribe and then resubscribe, it'll show up. Alright, so we got 1 for the second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for Article 2. And 1, 2, 3. Only 3 for Joe Biden. So we're talking about outrage. You guys want outrage? I will give you outrage. I don't know when OBS shows up to do it. It just kind of does it on its own. Sometimes it shows up later. Sometimes it shows up during the stream. I don't know how it works. OBS just does its OBS thing. Outrage as New York City landlady posts TikTok video claiming she steals packages from tenants who can't pay rent. Gotta love these people. Close that. I am sorry for all the ads on the screen. Jesus Christ, Daily Mail. A social media video has sparked outrage after a landlady claims she steals packages from her tenants who have not paid rent. The clip posted by Abby Owasana on TikTok Saturday featured the captions, my tenant is late on rent and is avoiding me but has money to order, so I take all of their packages until they pay up. This is actually illegal. This is illegal. She can't do this. I'm so petty, the New York woman continued in the footage, set to the sounds of Drip Report's Skechers song. Owasana's profile says she's a realtor, senior management of operations in IT and interior designer, and has garnered more than 6,000 followers. Yeah, lockdown was her Christmas. So these are the pictures of her doing it. And people have responded saying it's okay to be late during a pandemic. It's illegal to withhold their packages. It could be anything, especially if they have children. This is wrong. And then paying rent, $800 to $1,500 based on where I live, versus ordering something cheap from Amazon. Have sympathy. There's a whole pandemic. And then another one says, what if there's baby formula? They have $20 but not $800 in rent. She's not looking good at this. This bitch is one of those people who thinks that any publicity is good publicity, and everyone who disagrees with her are haters. That's all this is. However, the controversial video received 200,000 views on TikTok and went on to receive millions more as others shared it on other platforms. Landlords are a menace to society, one Twitter user captioned the clip of Owasana tossing the Amazon package to the side and dancing around her home in New York City. Her recording garnered more than 5.3 million views alone as of Sunday morning. You're giving her what she wanted, attention. She thinks those views are agreement with her. She's using that as, hey look, 5.3 million people liked what I did. In comments on the original post, many viewers blasted Owasana. Not 3.5 million people blasted her. What if there's baby formula? We read that one. It's okay to be late during a pandemic. We read that one. Owasana replied to one woman who commented, late rent versus a federal offense, saying that the mail package in the video was in fact her own. Thanks for the concern. All my mail, but it's nice that y'all only care about renters like landlords don't have bills, she replied. How do I feel about my landlord? My landlord is, the most gorgeous landlord I've ever met. She's generous, an amazing baker. She has a great sense of humor. I could go on about my landlord, but it would take hours for me to pass through what exactly my landlord does for me. Nathan says she isn't wrong, but she is in the wrong. Yes. Yeah. I don't have to worry about saying nice things about my landlord. I know she's listening. Well, I am glad you got baked, B-Token. After I'm done reading this, B-Token, I got some news for you. She later explained that it was all a joke, but she wanted to make a statement with the skit. Oh yes, it's all a joke because she got as much attention as she did. Yes, she does actually bake good bread. She baked bread yesterday. I am looking forward to turning it into sandwiches this week. She also made M&M cookies. Yep. I got M&M cookies and bread. Honestly, in the past, I had this issue with other tenants, and I wished I could do this to them because they were blatantly ignoring me. Asana continued in a comment to BuzzFeed News. Biggest oxymoron if I've ever heard one. Nothing to do with current tenants. If my tenants told me they couldn't pay, I would understand. My tenants have been late before. It is honey buttermilk bread, Red Feather, to make you even more jealous. It looks amazing. It's got a nice crust on it. Tastes really good. It's not stodgy in the least. Very airy, very light. Ishtar did a really fucking good job. And then the M&M cookies are delicious. She's got this trick that she does that we found out that we like. So cookies do involve using salt. And I'm getting on the weeds, but I'm praising baked goods, so deal with it. Her chocolate chip cookies that she makes needed salt. And all we really had was kosher salt, which is, salt flakes. The really nice touch with this is that the salt doesn't dissolve completely. So I know what you're saying. This is horrible. It's going to be a salty cookie. No, it's still a very, very sweet cookie. And then you'll bite into it, unexpectedly get this hit of saltiness, and you get this nice, delicious blend of sweet chocolate chip cookie and this saltiness. So it's a very good combination. So she's been doing that more, and she did that with these M&M cookies. It's just as delicious. So if you guys make your own cookies, try using kosher salt and see what it is like for you guys. I know I love it. The people at our work love it. Ish loves it. And it's hard for me to say bad things about delicious fucking cookies. I'm thinking I'm giving Token the munchies. Nothing to do with current tenants. Aswana added, compassion should be for everyone because we're all going through a pandemic together. She's only making these statements because she got as much pushback as she fucking did. If this didn't get as much pushback, she'd still have that fucking package and she still thinks she's in the right. My guess is she actually got the tenant, whoever had it, basically said, if you don't give me my package, I am calling the police. The Brooklyn-born landlady said, Brooklyn, man, Steve, people from New York need to fucking learn, dude. You need to start working on this. You need to work on your people. The Brooklyn-born landlady said in April 2019 interview with Melanin People that she started her social media channels as an outlet for her stresses as a landlady. I had a very bad tenant. I needed an outlet, and drama has always been something I was into since junior high school. No fucking shit. No shit. Someone like this is into drama. I mean, come on. Could anybody raise their hand that surprised she's into drama? She explained in the article, in New York, where Aswana is based, thousands of tenants have gone on strike demanding rent cancellation as unemployment soars and much of the country remains homebound in shelter. Nearly 2/3 of New York's 8.6 million residents rent in housing market where, according to Tracker Rent Cafe, the average two-bedroom can run from $250,000 a month in Queens to more than $4,000 a month in Manhattan for a two-bedroom apartment. Two-bedroom apartment for $2,500 a month to $4,000. I was in a 4-bedroom house before I moved to Washington, and it was fucking $4,000 a month. Or no, it wasn't $4,000. I was paying $900. They were paying $9. It was, yeah. It wasn't even 4,000. It was I think 2,000 a month. An estimated 12,000 unique tenants across 100 buildings in America's coronavirus epicenter participated in Friday's strike, according to preliminary figures from the advocacy group Housing Justice for All, a lead organizer of the movement. The protests, which coincide with May Day, are believed to be the largest such coordinated tenant activity in New York since the 1930s, when mass strikes took aim at the rent gouging, which there still fucking is. Whenever you get into an apartment, if it is not rent controlled, guess what they do every year? Every year they will raise your rent 10%. Now they can raise it as low as 5%, but I have never been in an apartment with a landlord that went, you know what, I'm going to raise the minimum. They raise it 10%. And if your apartment is $2,500 a month, that means it goes up $250. That $250 could make or break you. No, they raise it. Did I say lower? I meant raise. They can take the lower percentage of 5%, but instead they'll always take the 10 because 10 is the maximum. Similar movements took place across the country, which has the highest number of coronavirus cases and deaths. More than 1 million people have been infected and more than 64,000 have died. And this is an older article. Those numbers have been rolled back. Oh, there you go. This is part of her statement on TikTok. As a comedian, I get to depict society in humorous ways, taking on various characters and making skits. Looking back at that skit, I realized it was a bad joke, only because people told you it was a bad joke. You would have continued doing it. I would have never tampered with anyone's mail, except you did. All those deliveries are mine. I highly doubt it. I'm sorry to have upset so many people, only because you got caught. This is sensitive time for many, and I am in it as well. Probably not as bad as everybody else. Apologies once again. Cheers. Again, only doing this shit because you got caught. If you did not get as much pushback as you did, you will pretty much would have continued doing it and thinking that you were the bee's fucking knees. Yeah, I know taxes go up every year, but that $250 does make a difference. Like, if it was a $4,000 apartment, that's an extra $400 a year, or a month. A lot of people can't afford that. Even in New York, people can't afford that. I don't know. Like I said, the only reason she's apologizing is because she got caught. So, we have 2 more articles. We're going to get through all 3 of them. 2 more articles for the Choose Your Own Adventure. First one says, is sleep a feminist issue? This is how men steal our sleep. And article number 2, viral video of a woman boxing dogs sparks animal cruelty investigations. So, 1 or 2, guys. We need this choice from you. It is most important. You have to choose. Apparently there is a meme of Antoine eating watermelon in the Discord. If you guys are not part of the Discord, I suggest you join it. The link is down below. It's definitely fun in there when people are talking. Memes are always going around. Articles get linked. Gaming stuff gets linked. Everything like that. So it looks like we are reading about the feminist issue of sleep. Only one person wanted to read about the boxing dog. You know what? Apparently manspreading is not just sitting down with your legs as wide open as possible. Manspreading apparently can be during running. Manspreading can be talking on a plane. Manspreading, I guess, is everything. Anything a man does that women don't like is considered manspreading. It's dumb as shit, but hey, it's there. Alright, let's see. Now, I want to say, right off the bat, I had to find the archive link for this, or I had to have someone give it to me, because Stylist took this article down because of the pushback from it. So, here we go. From Stylist. Is sleep a feminist issue? This is how men steal our sleep. Posted by Lucy Manigan for Lucy Manigan. So I guess Lucy explains this. I guess this is another opinion piece of someone who thinks they know what to do. Excuse me. Lucy Manigan explains what happens when you enter into a long-term hetero bed sharing. Was she talking about a live-in relationship? I didn't know it got upgraded to something that you could put terms to. Hey, Ish, did you know we were in a long-term hetero bed-sharing relationship? I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently that's a thing. I don't remember how old I was when I first heard the phrase, sleep is a feminist issue. You were probably this many years old. Today I was this many days old when I heard that this was a feminist issue. But I know this. It was before I started sharing a bed with men. On the regular. Alright, this is gonna be an...
I did know that we're in a long-term hetero bed sharing, because you hog the bed.
No, I do not.
You do too.
I do not. Do not listen to that lying slag. She pushes me out of bed almost every night. I have like a foot to sleep on. I'm gonna do this. She kind of startled me coming to the window. I'm gonna do this in another dramatic reading for you guys. Consecutive men. I never felt I could cope with more than one at a time. Before then, I couldn't understand how sleep could ever be a gendered issue, let alone a feminist one. You go to bed, you go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, and go about your day. Someone else goes to bed with you. You might have sex, chat, and then you go to sleep, and he goes to sleep. You wake up in the morning, you might have sex, chat, then you go about your day. Ha! Oh, ha ha ha. You naive, well-rested, single fool. Gather round me, children, in the woody glen of truth, and listen to my hard-won words of wisdom as I collapse in chronic fatigue on a bed of moss. Because this is what happens when you enter into long-term hetero bed sharing. This, in short, is how men steal your sleep. 1. You feel tired. You begin your winding down routine at a time and pace appropriate for the goal of being in bed by X o'clock. You notice a variety of supposedly shared tasks that have gone undone and do them on the way so you don't have to get up early to do them in the morning. You get to a bed at X plus o'clock. 2. You lie down and start processing the day's emotional load. Rerun conversations, work through anxieties, massage your guilt glands, plan the next day's practical admin, and eventually fall asleep. It is now X plus plus o'clock. 3. At X plus 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 o'clock, your partner bursts through the door, shucks off his clothes, and bounds onto the bed. He thinks he's being profoundly thoughtful because he hasn't broken or set fire to anything on his way up. He thinks he is silently creeping into his nest like a tiny field mouse without disturbing a single ear of corn. he is wrong. 4. If he realizes you are now awake, he will start a conversation on whatever subject you are currently finding most stressful, because midnight really is absolutely the best time for this. 5. You begin to step 2 again. Halfway through, you feel a hopeful erection pressing into your lumbar region. You can either A. Pretend to be asleep, in which case it will wake you up at least 3 more times in the night. B. Accept its overtures. Or C. Give it a good slap and finish going to sleep yourself. It is now at least X plus o'clock. 6. He falls asleep within 3 seconds. Because for him, the day took care of itself, and there's no reason to think tomorrow won't. 7. You will be disturbed half a dozen times more by his snoring or the fact there isn't a man alive who hasn't learned how to rotate under the duvet rather than take it with him when he turns. 8. Dawn cracks and his alarm goes off early because he misset it. He's back to sleep immediately. You are not. You might as well get up and do the leftover chores. These points may not all resonate with you, but add up how much sleep you lose a week, a month, a year, to the ones that do. Ask yourself how much sleep you lose to a man's unconscious sense of entitlement. A belief so profound it seems natural to feel his time, his rest, his smooth passage through the world is more important than yours. You can ponder this sleep inequality beyond the night hours, then decide what to do about it. Ishtar says, I can honestly say that this woman needs to see a sleep therapist, sleep alone, or just be fucking single. I agree with B Token. I vote single. Or they could do the adult thing and get a bigger bed. Guys, in all seriousness, I have trouble falling asleep. Okay? I'm one of those people that I can be tired, and as soon as my head hits the pillow, my brain goes, all of these things that you thought were bad, let's go over them. In detail. Relentlessly. It also is a brain that likes to go, you recently watched a really terrifying movie. Let's go ahead and let your imagination run wild, because it's overactive, and imagine that the doors are about to be broken down by sound tracking monsters. Or zombies, or whatever. I have a very active brain, which, when I'm stressed, like I have been for the last couple months, causes me to have insomnia. I can't turn it off. Ishtar, on the other hand, can fall asleep at the drop of a hat. And she does. Regularly. Now, we may bicker back and forth about who hogs the bed. Everyone does. Ishtar does not lack for sleep. I do, but that's my problem. This bitch is blaming her partner on her problems sleeping. That is not a partner problem. That is a you problem. Now, the one that I will say is her partner's problem is if he does come in at midnight, make a load of noise, and then basically thumping onto the bed and wake her up. Yeah, that's his problem. You should talk to him about that and tell him to stop doing it. Now, what I want to point out is the whole, he understands that the next day will take care of itself. What that means is that what's going to happen tomorrow is going to happen regardless. It's not going to anything that has already gone through today, well, it'll be fixed tomorrow. She sees that as something that is a detriment. Oh, no, Ish, you don't sleep heavy. Apparently, I learned this last night, guys. Okay, I learned this last night. Ishtar slept through a Category 4 hurricane. When she says she sleeps heavy, what she means to say is she goes into a coma. On top of that, apparently when she was younger, she slept through a tornado ripping through her backyard. See, I wish I could fall asleep and sleep like a rock. I don't. I'm a heavy sleeper, but I also know my brain wakes me up. And I hate it. Yeah, Ishtar slept through a Category 4 hurricane. Let's see. Oh, there's just a little bit more, and then we can talk about how idiot... Ishtar says, I do experience a temporary death each night. Will the trend for a king-size bed with separate duvets solve the problem? Yes, it will. Or do we need to delve a little deeper? Who is it, exactly, that needs to wake up? Bitch, you do. You need to wake up. So, apparently this article was fashioned in congruency with M&S in partnership. M&S designs homeware and nightwear that gives a great night's rest and is the official partner of the Stylist Restival 2020. This article was not only supposed to say that men rob women of their sleep, but also to promote that they should get new bedding, new bedwear, new beds. So not only are men patriarchal in the bedroom with the sleep, but, they're also patriarchal because they won't let her buy a new king size. PMS? PMNS? Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, God. This is just horrible. All right, guys, we're down to the last two. The last two! Congratulations. You have made it this far in the Choose Your Own Adventure game. That is the Last Vox this week. So we have number 1, Biden. Or number 2, woman boxing a dog. Make your choice. Everybody wants to. No baby sniffers. They don't want to talk about Joe Biden. So Joe Biden will be our last adventure. You all have doomed yourself. Alright, let's talk about the viral video of a woman boxing a dog. Viral video of woman boxing dog sparks animal cruelty investigation. I don't know if it shows the video. A video of an Idaho woman boxing her dog sparked outrage on social media because apparently this woman was not holding her punches. She was wailing on this dog. And she could now face animal cruelty charges. The horrifying Snapchat clip showed a woman in workout gear and boxing gloves repeatedly punching a German Shepherd in the face. We're boxing animals. Where's Sarah McLachlan? Someone in the background says, referring to the singer and well-known animal rights activist, whose songs have been featured in ads for the Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and also plays late at night when you are alone with your thoughts, and it comes on with the saddest looking animals you have ever seen, and makes you want to adopt all of them. The dog yelps as the woman lands a hard punch and says, "I hit him so hard I felt that through," before this 13-second clip ends abruptly. She punched the dog hard enough that she felt the dog's jaw through the boxing glove. The footage was shared widely on other social media platforms, with many viewers decrying it as animal abuse. 'Cause it is animal abuse. The Idaho Humane Society said Monday that it had received an overwhelming number of calls and emails about the clip and was launching a probe. The shelter's Animal Care and Control Division has contacted the woman, who is from Eagle, but hasn't been publicly identified, according to the Idaho Statesman. Don't worry, that's going to happen soon enough. The investigation is currently pending review at the local prosecutor's office for charging decisions. Idaho Humane Society spokeswoman Christine Shelahas, that's a fucking name, said the ADA County Prosecutor's Office could charge the woman under the local law that addresses beating and harassing animals. The misdemeanor charge carries a maximum sentence of up to 6 months in prison and up to $5,000 in fines. That is for each instance that they find of animal cruelty, mind you. So if there is more, these fines can rack up and the 6 months could become a lot longer. There's not much to this article. Draconess says she wants to make a stew. Ray says, well, at least the dog didn't cancel the fight and then claim the woman didn't show up. Ray. Oh, Ray. Okay. This bitch. You have to hit the dog really fucking hard to be able to feel the dog's jaw through the boxing glove. Knowing Antoine like I do, he was born of the dark side of the internet, and he knows there's one thing you don't do on the internet, and that is fuck with animals, not pertaining to the very first article we read today, or fuck with children. 4chan has gotten a lot of flack. And I always bring this up when anything happens like with animal cruelty. 4chan gets a lot of flack. It's no longer the den of scum and villainy of the internet. That's called Twitter. But when 4chan was feared and reviled on the internet, they had one rule. You don't mess with animals, and you don't mess with kids. I know it sounds like two rules. It was incongruency. It was you don't mess with A, animals, and B, kids. I have been part of threads, because I am an old fag from 4chan, that it started off showing a GIF of a woman in high heels who decided to put her spiked heels through a kitten's eye socket. And then the woman throws the kitten over the railing off a cliff. Now you can't see the woman's face. All you can see is her hands and her foot. It was a kitten or a puppy, one of the two. Either way, she fucked with an animal. Within 2 hours, the autistic Spurgs on 4chan not only tracked her down, but had inundated her local police department with hundreds of calls. Within hours, they had her name and their address, all based off of the park itself and her shoe, because above the strap of her high heel was a tattoo. They found her. She was charged. That's don't fuck with animals on the internet. People don't like it. I have seen 4chan, because CP has been put on 4chan. I have seen 4chan report it, and then from a non-sexually explicit image, track down where the girl was from a window and wallpaper. They found her and rescued her. Not 4chan themselves, the police. And the man was arrested. And then let's not forget the greatest game of capture the flag ever. The He Will Not Divide Us flag. Where they track down just off of star charts and flight patterns where Shia LaBeouf hid his flag. And they found it and took it. There are two things you do not... Well, there are three things you don't do on the internet. One of them is funny. The other two are not. You don't mess with kids. You don't mess with animals. The internet will find you. I hope to God this bitch gets arrested and is not allowed to have animals in her presence ever again. Alright, guys. You have reached the final boss of the internet. You have reached, well, not the internet. You have reached the final boss of this Choose Your Own Adventure. You have reached the final boss of the Last Vox. You have come in contact after a long, dark hallway of traps, baddies, violence, anger, few pedophiles, bestiality. You have now come in contact with Joe Biden. Are you prepared to face Joe Biden? Do you have your sniff repellent? Because I can assure you, a wild Joe Biden, once he sees a girl that he finds interest in, will find her, will creep on her, and will sniff her. So much so that the Me Too founder says that Joe Biden can show, quote unquote, what it looks like to be both accountable and electable. That's right, it's okay that he assaulted a woman, multiple women, one of them being 14. But he's still electable, because he's not orange, he's not a conservative, and he's not Trump. The Democratic Party doesn't know what they want, but they sure as shit apparently want to put another sex offender in the White House. The founder of the Me Too movement spoke up on Tuesday to explain what she believes as an inconvenient truth about the sexual assault allegations against Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. Ray says a slogan, Joe Biden, he might not be all there, but he is all right. Tarana Burke, who founded Me Too in 2007, said former congressional aide Tara Reade's accusations against Biden are being felt differently because of the 2020 election, which will now feature two men in powerful positions who have been accused of sexual assault. Yes. If I remember correctly, Brett Kavanaugh and his accusations also dealt with an elected position into the Supreme Court. But there was no problem with that. I've shared it on Twitter before. On top of the fact that there is no actual major news publications or major news stations that are talking about this. They're trying to do whatever they can to push the spotlight away from it. The amount of hypocrisy that is going on with this is mind-numbing. Now, we can take a parallel. Okay? We can take a parallel. Kavanaugh had a woman accuse him of something that happened 30 years ago. Okay? A lot of people went, it's 30 years old. Big fucking deal. The only reason you showed up, because he's going to be elected, or he's going to be elected into the Supreme Court. Joe Biden is being accused of sexual assault from a woman 30 years ago, who just recently popped up because he is now the Democratic nominee for president. That's a parallel. Here's where the parallel diverges. With Kavanaugh, there were hundreds of articles saying that Christine Blasey Ford should be listened to without investigation. It's not about him doing anything. It was about the job. We don't want this man taking the job. It's just a job interview. It's not ruining his life. I mean, elected as in by Trump. Nominated, I guess you could say. He was put there by Trump. But there were hundreds of those articles. Joe Biden is accused of the same fucking thing. There were two articles about Tara Reade. Okay? Here's more of a divergence. Brett Kavanaugh. With Christine Blasey Ford, her own witnesses, the three other women that were like, yes, Brett Kavanaugh did this. He's an evil man. When questioned, went, I don't really remember it happening. I'm not even sure that he was there. Tara Reade has a phone call from her mother to Larry King that suddenly you can't find online anymore, where she says her daughter just made a complaint against Joe Biden for sexually harassing her. You also have Tara Reade, who has witnesses that corroborate her statement. This branch, this divergence, this split from these two stories is getting farther and farther apart. But at the same time, they're still parallel. And we have the founder of the Me Too movement, whose basic statement was believe women, now coming out and saying, we should believe Tara Reade, but we want to elect Joe Biden anyway. Red Feather makes a perfect suggestion, a reasonable example. Even if Kavanaugh's shit was true, he was in high school and college, not a 50-year-old man. I don't believe it was true either. But do you see, this is why people are going, no. You need to pay attention to Joe Biden and what happened. We held them accountable. We held Brett Kavanaugh accountable for that shit. We have to hold Biden accountable. You don't get to do this sleight of hand. You don't get to go, yeah, it's Joe Biden, it's fine. Red Feather, again, is correct. There's been plenty of evidence of Joe Biden being creepy. Grabbing girls, sniffing them, rubbing their arms, holding them when they obviously want to be let go, kissing his granddaughter on the mouth at 19. Exactly, Ray. There was a report made when it happened, not years later. So the Me Too, this is why I retweeted Rose McGowan. I don't normally, because she's a fucking psycho insane bitch. But she called out Alyssa Milano for this bullshit. Alyssa Milano was up on Me Too and basically said, Brett Kavanaugh, that's where she got her start in identity politics was Brett Kavanaugh. She showed up and she said, this woman should be believed. We don't need justice, no peace. We don't need him on the Supreme Court. We don't need any of this stuff. Now that Joe Biden has been, quote unquote, credibly accused, Alyssa Milano pulled back and was like, I'm still going to support Joe Biden. Even though I touted all of this, Joe Biden's still a good guy. Even though I said believe all women, Tara Reid is lying. Joe Biden is good. I'm sorry, what? Rose McGowan called out Alyssa Milano. Give her props. She started to wake up a little bit. And then she went and credibly accused Bill Maher. And that's a whole other rabbit hole we don't want to go down right now. We're talking about Joe Biden. And his creepy, hair-sniffing ways. But first, let me get back to the article. But first, she made clear where she stands with any survivor of sexual assault in a series of tweets. Because of course she did. My stance has never wavered. Survivors have a right to speak their truth and to be given the space to heal. I'm sorry, what? What was that? What? That's not what you said with Kavanaugh. What you said with Kavanaugh is that Christine Blasey Ford should be believed without evidence. Christine Blasey Ford should be believed. Kavanaugh should be thrown off the Supreme Court. Not arrested, mind you, just thrown off the Supreme Court. You said, by your own standards, Brett Kavanaugh was a rapist. Just because Christine Blasey Ford said so. At a party that Kavanaugh wasn't even at, from a fraternity that he didn't belong to, on a weekend that he wasn't even in the same state. Yes, Rose McGowan is accusing Bill Maher of not sexual assault, but sexual harassment, because he said something about his Johnson a long-ass time ago on his show during a commercial break into her ear. He thought he was being funny. Rose McGowan was rather young. Not like underage young, but rather young in her career. So she just kind of accepted it. Now she's bringing it up. So the Me Too movement founder is changing her thought pattern to make it okay for Joe Biden to be a sexual predator and still be president. You see, about Kavanaugh, it was about not giving him the job of a Supreme Court justice, where he has other people to check and balance his decisions against the laws. But she's okay with Joe Biden being sexually accused and getting the job of leader of the free world. Are you fucking kidding me? The inconvenient truth, Burke added, is that this story is impacting us differently because it hits at the heart of one of the most important elections of our time. And I hate to disappoint you, but I really don't have easy answers. Yes, you do. You have the easiest answer of all. You fucking call out Joe Biden. You say Joe Biden should step down because he was credibly accused. That's the term that they continued to use for Kavanaugh. He has been, quote-unquote, credibly accused by Christine Blasey Ford. That's what you do. You take the standards of the exact same situation that you did before, and you apply them now. That's the easy answer. But because you don't like Trump, it's okay for Biden to become the leader of the free world. You're okay, one, with an old fucking senile white male who beat out all of the other colored folk and women and all of the socialists to be the president of the United States But you didn't want one dude who was, quote-unquote, credibly accused, without evidence, without corroboration, with witnesses recanting their statements, to not have a job on the Supreme Court where he has other people who will check what he says. You have easy answers. You just don't want to be pointed out as a hypocrite. I'm sorry, bitch. You're a hypocrite. There is no inconvenient truth. The only inconvenient truth is your fucking hypocrisy has been shown for exactly what it fucking is. You are one of those stupid idiots who are vote blue no matter fucking who. And the fucking who that is going up doesn't even know his own goddamn name. He thought he was running for the Senate. You can only justify so many goddamn gaffes before you start to wonder why they're not talking to his wife going, you need to get this fucker to a nurse. You need to get him to a doctor. You need to take him off this campaign trail. It is not good for his mental health. It is not good for anyone's mental health. He's not going to become president. I don't care what anybody fucking says. They're talking about polls recently saying that Joe Biden is doing better in the polls than Trump. That's all they're saying. Except when you read the polls, it is Democratic women voting who would they rather have. It's Democratic women. Yes, Biden is beating Trump in a poll based off of Democratic, progressive, liberal fucking women. Gee, I wonder fucking why. I hate with a passion, if you can't tell, I hate with a burning fucking passion double standards and hypocrisy. Especially hypocrisy that they continue to do and still go on thinking, no, I'm good at this. I'm good. My statement is all I need. No, you have standards that you set and now you are trying to play against them. You are trying to have double standards. It's okay for us to do it. It's not okay for you to do it. Guess what, folks? Most of the people... Oh yeah, I heard about the leaked phone call. Most conservatives basically are saying, if the evidence is there, we'll say something. Other than that, we're going to ignore it. It was 30 years ago. It's the progressives. It's the liberals. They're the ones who are like, no, don't look at Biden. Don't look at Biden. Look at this dude, Aubrey. He didn't steal from a house under construction. He was just telling the people that he was just visiting the property. He wasn't stealing anything. He didn't run from it, someone calling the cops. He was just jogging in the neighborhood. Pay attention to the two racist Trump supporting conservatives because Trump has blood on his hands because of this. Pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to Biden. Whatever you do, don't pay attention to the dude that can't hold himself upright, who has his eyes start bleeding, who can't fucking understand remembered names, who doesn't understand he's running for president, who can't tell that he's on fucking camera. Don't pay attention to this idiot. Pay attention to somebody else. You bitch, you have a double standard, and it's so fucking obvious, and you can't pull it back. You can't double down on this, because when you double down on it, it makes it even more fucking worse. Reed is one of 8 women who have come forward. 8 women! There was only one who came forward with fucking Kavanaugh. This is 8 women. Do you remember Bill Cosby? One woman came forward and then like 18 others came forward and everybody was like, well shit, so many people came forward. Bill Cosby better fucking be guilty. He's gotta be guilty. Look at all these women who have come forward against Bill Cosby. He's guilty. So many women. Joe Biden had 1 come forward and then 7 more. Guess Joe Biden is guilty by your fucking standards. Reed is one of 8 women who have come forward to accuse Biden of touching them inappropriately at various times in his political career. Reed said then Senator Biden assaulted her in 1993 while she was serving as an aide. In a podcast interview with Katie Halper in March, Reed said he kissed her and penetrated her with his fingers without her consent. Reed told Harper that she had brushed Biden away, which allegedly prompted him to say, "Come on, man, I heard you liked me." Then Reed said Biden pointed at her and said, "You're nothing to me." The accusations came as Biden recently became the last Democratic standing in the race for party presidential nomination. His campaign denied the claims against him in a statement to Huffington Post in late March. Are you ready for this shit? Listen to this. Women have a right to tell their story, and reporters have an obligation to rigorously vet those claims. Biden spokesperson Katie Bedingfield said in a statement to Huffington Post, "At that time, we encouraged them to do so because these accusations are false." That's not what they were saying with Kavanaugh. How's it going, Dark Ninja? That's not what they were saying with Kavanaugh. It was, the women accused him, he needs to step down. Joe Biden was along for that ride. We don't want President Trump to we don't want President Trump to have another person elected to the office of Supreme Court Justice. You don't need, and all of this rigorously vetting of the information with Kavanaugh is just blaming the victim. But now, with Tara Reid and Joe Biden, they do want this stuff rigorously vetted. They wanted this stuff investigated because, well, it's someone that they like. On Twitter, Burke said Reid, like other survivors, has had to rely on journalists and mainstream media to have her voice and accusations heard, which, according to mainstream media, they haven't been doing. Precisely because the system for survivors are not in place. Yes, Red Feather, this is the same mainstream media that shows fake war footage and fake pandemic footage are now supposed to vet sources. Burke then suggested that Biden could be both, ready? Accountable and electable for Democrats in the 2020 election. That means, from what I'm guessing, yes, he is accountable for his actions. They were 30 years ago, so it shouldn't matter. But he's still going to become president because he's better than Orange Man. Well, becoming a Supreme Court justice is bigger because it's a lifetime appointment. They don't run the country. I would argue that becoming president is a lot more important than becoming a justice. For Democrats in the 2020 election, adding that the former vice president faced a learning curve when it comes to respecting women's boundaries. The defense of Joe Biden shouldn't rest on whether or not he's a good guy or our only hope. Instead, he could demonstrate what it looks like to be both accountable and electable, she wrote. So it's not about him being the only one. It's not about him being the great white hope. It's not about him being a good guy. They're okay with they're okay with him being a sexual deviant. They're okay with him being mentally incompetent. They're okay with him groping girls. They're okay with the fact that his handlers have had to tell him, you can't touch the girls anymore. That's all good. He should still be president. He's going to be accountable for what he said and what he did. We're not going to impeach him, though. We're not going to try and kick him out of office if he does become president. We're just going to hold him accountable. Meaning, at minimum, acknowledging that his demonstrated learning curve around boundaries with women, at the very least, left him open to the plausibility of these claims. Wow, that's some doublespeak. So he had to unlearn everything. Because he had to unlearn everything, we're going to give him a pass. And because we're giving him a pass, it leaves him open to the plausibility that these claims are real. Do you know anybody else that these people... Do you know any conservative would give that much of the benefit of the doubt? Any conservative that they would give the whole... He had to unlearn that. He had to... Say Trump came out and said, you know, I understand that what I said about grabbing him by the pussy is really wrong. I understand that this is not something that I should have said. I understand that treating women like that are wrong. I understand that I am accountable for my actions. Do you think they'd give him a pass? No, they wouldn't give him a pass. They would lambaste him. They would lynch him in the media. But Biden gets a pass. He had to unlearn how to deal with women. No matter what you believe, we are allowed to expect more of the person running for U.S. president. You're expected to expect more from Biden running for president. All right. That's cool. I'd expect him to not have a history of 8 women accusing him of sexual assault. How much longer is this? Okay, not much longer. Burke also suggested that the current judicial system does not allow for a transformative approach to dealing with claims of sexual violence that supports both accountability and healing. Some activists have criticized what they see as lack of support for Reid and a failure to strongly condemn Biden, because no one's condemning Biden. In the week that followed her decisions to describe the alleged assault in full detail. When Dr. Christine Blasey Ford was defending herself to Congress after alleging that Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh had assaulted her in the early 1980s, many members of the Me Too movement stood behind Ford and offered full-throated support. Yeah, they did. Days after Kavanaugh was confirmed as justice, Burke wrote Ford a public letter praising her heroism and the ability to face the patriarchy with no weapons other than her voice, her body, and her truth. Actress Rose McGowan, who emerged as an outspoken advocate for the Me Too movement in 2017, aired her concern on Twitter this weekend. Where are the silence breakers? Where is Tarana Burke? Where is Me Too? She tweeted Sunday. In her Twitter thread, Burke explained that she had taken some time off from her activism because she had family affected by the current coronavirus outbreak in the U.S. Burke also casted doubt on the intentions of those who have heightened interest in Reid's case, suggesting that they were actually more interested in Biden's political demise. Most people weighing in at the moment don't actually care about transforming a culture of sexual violence. Of course they don't, because it's Biden who's the one that's getting the flack now. Many of you are only interested in this story because you are entertained by the trauma of others, or because it has potential to be politically expedient, with no real regard for the survivor. People ragged on Kavanaugh for crying. Progressives, leftists, SJWs, LGBT activists ragged on Kavanaugh for fucking crying while he was being accused of running a train on a woman he had never had sex with. That they were trying to destroy his life. But that's okay. Because him crying was him being guilty. Why would he cry? Why would he defend himself so hard? I don't know. Maybe because it didn't fucking happen. But this going hard at Biden, the people behind the Me Too movement going hard or not going at all at Biden, that's because the people who are around Biden and want people to go after him are just doing it for the drama. Are you fucking kidding me? To that end, Burke said the survivors deserve more than being used as a political football by disinterested parties. You mean like the fucking Democrats did with Kavanaugh? You need to go over your tweets again, Tirana, and apply them to the situation with Kavanaugh instead of just sticking with Biden. I don't want to read Burke's full fucking thread. I don't care about the bitch. She has double standards. They're obvious double standards. And it's because of those double standards that Biden is still going to get away with this. I don't believe it, guys. I don't understand how they're going to continue this. If you guys watch my content, you guys know I have a huge hate for double standards. I can't stand them. And when people push double standards, it riles me up, if you can't tell. I try, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. I try to not be a hypocrite. I try. It doesn't always work. I have double standards with certain things. I know that. I'm only human. You guys probably have double standards with things. When you have in-groups, out-groups, when you have groups that don't like each other, it's okay when something happens to somebody else. And I don't like bringing it up, but it's happened. It's why I'm showing my face on my gaming channel. It's why I'm showing my face when streaming. Not right now because I'm playing on PlayStation. I don't have an iToy. Zeo Gold asks, why do you do this to me, Matt? Is this for all the Antoine and Sarah jokes? No, Zeo Gold. I bring internet insanity because I like torturing you guys, and then you guys are entertained by it. You guys like when I rage. I know you do. But I don't like bringing it up. I was doxxed. I was doxxed because I was an okay target for the doxing. And the people who I had been hanging around thought it was okay that I was doxxed because I was now someone that was on the other side. I was an okay target now. And these are the same people that screamed to high heaven about doxing. Defended doxing. Defended not doxing, I'm sorry. Now, they're defending doxers. It wasn't a dox. It only has my tag in it. It was doxing me and my ex-wife. I have people coming to me in DMs telling me that they're searching for my... There are people who are not searching for my home address and my information. They're shopping it out to people who's interested in it. And I have people believing that I'm doing this. That I'm doing this to someone else because I changed the letter of a name. That's a double standard I can't stand. It's okay because it's someone else that I don't like. I try and stick to my standards as hard as I can. And you guys should too. You should stand for your principles. It's not that hard. It was a while ago, Red Feather. I'm not going to name names. They know who they are. They secretly watch this. They secretly watch my shows. They secretly stalk my Twitter. When I did show up on the one and only time I was on a Kumite, somehow they knew I was on, and somehow they knew and somehow they were talking about it. But it was a while ago. I'm not going to lie, I panicked. I freaked out. anyone would. I've dealt with it now. That's why I'm showing my face. I got nothing more to hide. Everybody's already seen Antoine behind the mask. Everybody knows that. I know we like to play it up that me and Antoine are different characters. You guys know Antoine's not a real person. It's lore. It's fun. You guys know that Sarah and Ishtar are two different people. But the double standards of stuff like that, you guys have principles of your own. You guys have principles that you stand up for. Continue to stand up for them. Admit when you've accidentally become a hypocrite in something. Because you're human. It's fine. It's okay to make mistakes. It really is. Don't let people on Twitter, don't let people on the internet, don't let people in comment sections, don't let people like that mess with you. Thank you, Ray. Ray says, imagine if Penn Jillette and Steven Seagal did a fusion, then did streams where they did a good fake British accent. That's mad. Thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate that. Yeah. I try and give advice, Malik, because I sometimes with these shows I go from 0 to 11. And for me, this helps me bring it back down. So yeah, guys, stick for your standards. If you don't like double standards and you see people doing this shit, call it out. It's the best thing you can do. Light is the best disinfectant. So I hope you guys had fun. I had a blast. I loved the whole you guys get to choose what I read next. The whole choose your own adventure thing. You guys chose your own demise. You fought the final boss of the Last Vox and you won. B-Token says he needs to light up again. But, you know, everybody chills out in their own way. So I thank you guys for showing up. I thank you guys for listening. If you like what I do here, please hit like, share this around, subscribe if you haven't. And I honestly want you guys to know that I appreciate you guys showing up. It's always fun doing this stuff with you guys. I enjoy talking to you. And I hope to see you guys on Tuesday. There should be a new Help for the Gildas video coming out this week. And I hope you all have a wonderful week and see you next Sunday. Have a good night, everybody.
He keeps kicking me in the dick. Why? Why does he keep kicking me in the dick?